What is up, listeners? Welcome to another episode of Behind the Frames. My name is Vic, your host, and today's episode we have a very good friend of mine that I know from the Anitube. Please welcome RJ from On the Rise. RJ, welcome to the
Hello,
podcast.
hello.
Man,
Thank you
well,
for having me. Thank you for having me.
thank you for coming to the podcast, man. Like, I've always wanted to invite you for. It's been like a month since I've like asked you. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so yeah, it's great to have you here,
I'm glad.
and yeah, man, like you're one of those people that I really enjoy watching content of, so it's cool to have you. It's,
Ah,
it's
thank you.
yeah, as an Anituber,
Thank you.
fellow Anituber, it's cool to have you, and just chat about anime and Anitube. So yeah, welcome to the podcast.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoy the channel, I I try my best to make it as enjoyable as possible. I don't get much feedback, but I'm glad
Yeah,
that people are out there actually enjoying the channel. So,
yeah. So this is like a tradition of our channel, well, kind of.
hmm
So, how about you introduce yourself to the people that might not know you? I mean, let's be real. 90% of people that's gonna be listening to this podcast is like people who know you. But still, how about you introduce yourself to the people that might not know you?
okay. I assume most people probably don't know me. Hey, my name is RJ Lane. I am the YouTube host of On the Rise AMV. You can just Google On the Rise or YouTube search On the Rise Anime. Our channel will pop up. I'm a Anituber. I've been doing it for about 4 years now. I think we're coming up on year four. I think this is year four. I don't know.
God
I don't
damn.
lose track. But yeah, and my channel revolves around is my best to combine cinematic elements with reviewing anime and talking about the anime community, whether I'm talking about seasonal anime or just a topic on anime in general or a specific show. Because I'm also a filmmaker, so I try my best to combine like cinematic elements, like green screen skits, of course voiceovers, and with all my reviews and stuff, and just try to have a fun time while talking about whatever anime topic comes to mind, basically. So,
Yep, that's a great introduction. But, I mean, when you say your name like on the rise ANV, I'm like, why is it AMV? For a second, I was like, wait, what? But yeah, what does like the ANV stands for?
that is a question I get a lot, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So the original name of the channel was On the Rise Anime and Video Games,
Mm-hmm.
and I was supposed to review video games as well. And
Where's the video
that
games? I'm looking for it. Where's the video
that
games?
never happened. So I was just like, oh, well, I'm gonna change it. And we didn't take out the video games because we still stream on Twitch. For a lot of people who don't know, the YouTube side is hosted by me. The Twitch side is hosted by another one of our team members, Shaman, and then we have a channel manager. So we still do video games, just not on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's why it's changed to On the Rise A and B.
All right.
Um, yeah, so that's the lore behind that.
So now it's just like a cheeky name of sorts. Kind of like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And a lot of people think it's audio and visuals, which I'll
I
take.
did. I did for a second.
I'll take it. I'll take it. No one needs to know the truth.
Yeah. This is getting cut off. We don't know. We don't know the truth yet. Nobody else is gonna hear this. But yeah, yeah, anime and video games. So like, now that you talked about like the anime and video game side of it, but like, I'll ask you like the most basic question: how did you get into like the YouTubing part of like how did you start making videos? What was your inspiration, and like what really got you into the video creation side?
So I always had an interest in video creation. Never really YouTube. I always like watched old YouTube. I was in film school in
Mm-hmm.
the year 2018. This was the year before the channel started. I was in film school and I was watching a. I discovered that AniTube was a thing. I was like, people are online talking about. People are making videos on anime on YouTube, and it's not just anime clips. Like, what's going on? Um,
Oh man. Yeah.
and I always knew it was a thing. I just didn't know it was a kind of like an art form. I would say, like, I would think because in the day, Anitube was just people in front of a camera talking about anime, and I was like, I'm not watching
Yeah.
that. But then I started watching, Geek Mother Basement, and I was like, oh my god, there's actually editing involved in this. There's script writing and stuff like that. They're actually making this. It's like a creative way of discussing anime online. I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Um, and then 2019, our channel manager was always like, "You talk about anime a lot. You should make a YouTube channel off it. You should be one of those people that are in front of the camera talking about anime." And I was like, "No, that's boring. I don't want to do that." And then I discovered this new way of like kind of editing and stuff. And then in 2019, I was just in my class. I was in a Disney class, and
Mm-hmm.
we were learning about how Walt Disney just one day woke up and was like, I'm gonna create, I'm gonna do animation." And
Okay.
yeah, I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna go for it. So I went to the computer labs in my college and created the YouTube channel, and I started writing the first script. And yeah, the rest is history.
Man, when you talk about like the getting inspiration from like the other guys, I remember when I tried to like for me at the start I didn't just do like the content that I'm doing right now. Obviously, I started off with try not to sing and dance along challenges. Actually, before that, I tried to like make a typical Anitube video, yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
the review shit, and I did not know how to write a script, so I was just reading off a fucking Wikipedia page, and I remember recording it, and it was awful, and I was like, yeah, this nobody's gonna see this. This is not gonna get out. I'm gonna just gonna forget about it, delete it, just get out of here. Because I always wanted to do YouTube. Like for me, like
Yeah.
either gaming. First gateway was obviously gaming, and I just wanted to do some gaming content, but it was really hard. Anitube. I mean, I tried at first, but it didn't work out. But then afterwards, like I did the try not to sing and dance along stuff, got decent traction, but then I had to delete them because YouTube's a bitch. But yeah, then
Mhm.
afterwards with the podcast, I got like more confidence in just talking and just talking about anime in general. So, and then I bought a mic and I'm like, all right, fine. You know what? Let's give it a try. Even if it's boring or not, at least I can talk about anime. So I guess that's cool. And yeah, here we are.
I kind of had a cheat sheet because I was and I was in my last year of film school when I started the
Mhm.
channel. So it was more so I already knew how to edit. I already knew how to
Mhm.
write scripts. That's what I do in my normal career. So I was just like, yeah, I already know how to do this. I'm not saying that my first videos were plus plus. Don't go back and watch them. it,
I will
it
definitely watch it right now.
it was definitely like a leg above the rest. It
Yeah.
was like it was like standard quality. It was like, oh, this person knows how to edit. This person knows how to write scripts. I've definitely gotten better and definitely a lot more creative. I mean, I think
Mhm.
my first video is incredibly boring, but I've definitely learned kind of, I guess, the YouTube lingo of kind of trying to keep the audience into like retention,
Yeah.
and like how to do that during a video, how to start off a video, thumbnails and titles definitely have improved. I'm still working on it because I still am struggling with thumbnails, but it's definitely improved. But yeah, because I think that was my biggest struggle when I first started. I didn't
Thumbnails. Yeah.
understand how thumbnails
Yeah.
and titles were. I was just like, just slap it on and do whatever.
Same, exactly. Because I remember before I was working on my thumbnails, I'll just go to Google, searching anime, and just slap on something I see on Google
Yeah,
Images. That's
I would
what.
just want a picture like people like Tanjiro. Put them up there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Watch
Just
it.
anime 4K wallpaper. Just slap it in there. Anyone will watch it, no problem. But I
Yeah.
felt like I remember doing like this one ranking video with a friend, like my big video right now. So I did that and I just chose a Google image, obviously. But then I was like, I don't know, it's not good. I didn't feel like it's good enough. So I went ahead, I opened Photoshop and I learned how to do stuff, and then I made the thumbnail, and then I felt really accomplished. I was like, holy shit, the thumbnail is actually good. And now that video is
Yeah.
like one of my most popular videos right now. And I was like, I just look at it probably like, yeah, boy. But yeah, I still struggle with thumbnails because there's a certain style that I want to go with, but I'm still not nailing it yet. Maybe it's like the font, maybe it's like this, like all the effects and shit. Maybe I'll get it right one day. One day.
Hey, that's how you do it. You know,
Yeah.
YouTube is a journey. You advance the style as you go on. It's all trial and error. It's all
Yep.
trial and error.
Exactly. Exactly.
Everyone's doing trial and
Yeah.
error.
Exactly. Man, man, whenever I look through my thumbnails, it's just so ass, man. Like, especially older ones. Again, I just go to Google, I just slap on an image, and I'm like, all right, this looks good enough. Or I just
Yeah,
pull up a random clip and just slap it in there.
I
It
went through
works.
this period where I was trying to change, and I was still like trying to figure out like my thumbnail style and what I wanted to do with thumbnails. And I went through this,
Hmm.
and I thought I had it down pat. So I went through this period where I went back and tried to change all the thumbnails for my videos.
Hmm.
And now that I've changed my thumbnail style again, I'm looking at those thumbnails. I'm like, oh, they're ass.
I
And
mean, I mean, to be fair though, like your thumbnails are pretty good. I actually like them a lot, especially like the collage style on the background, and then like just a image in the front. I think that's pretty cool.
thank you, thank you. Yeah, so it was. I tried to change like old videos and stuff like that, and I just realized that I should just focus on my newer content because that's kind of what people are watching. I don't think anyone's kind of going back and watching my older stuff other than the Fate watch order.
Hey, you might
But
not know. I might go ahead and watch every single one of your videos. Who knows?
oh, thanks. I don't recommend that. It's like night and day. Like the channel's birthday is I think January 17th,
All right.
and that's we're planning a stream where we go back and the history of On the Rise. It's gonna be a fun stream, but I'm dreading it because I'm gonna click on that first video and I'm gonna be like, oh my god, what was I thinking?
Yeah, no. I remember when I did that, like, back. I remember when I made my first, like, try not to sing or dance along challenge, and it was so scuffed because I didn't know how to edit back then. I just put some random clips in, and I mean, that's basically the whole thing, but still, you need to do some
Yeah,
transitions, and especially with songs, you just gotta get a feel for it. You can't just put a happy song and then a depressed song and shit. But. It was like a 32-minute video. I remember making it, and it got a lot of views and shit. I was happy about it, and then I had to delete it, sadly, but still. I remember one day on Discord, I was with some of my friends, and we were watching it, and I noticed how awful that video was because there would be like certain songs, like, I did not know how to ripple delete back then. So there would be a gap between one song and another, and there would just be a black screen for no reason whatsoever. I'm like, oh god, I was cringing like hell. I was like, why? Come on, Vic, what is this? And
hey,
and it was back in the day when I was using Filmora too. So the thing with Filmora back then, you couldn't like extend the clip at least, the clip that you like cut. So with Premiere Pro, you can do that. You couldn't do that with Filmora. It still had a ripple delete, so that didn't excuse the fucking gap in between that. Oh my god, it was awful. Like, even if I watch it, I don't even watch it right now. I literally deleted the video. That's how awful it was. Even though it had like what 20K, still deleted it. I was like, no, this is not staying up. But then again, it got shafted by copyright, so there's that. But yeah, talking about like channel styles and stuff, like how much your channel has evolved from like 4 years ago to now. What do you feel like is the biggest change that you made, which is also like your best change that you made for your channel?
I think the kind of the way I approach video now
Mm-hmm.
is quite recent. I mean, I think it started with that touching grass video or the anime epiphany video. Um, uh, yeah, that was a fun one. Basically, I got bored,
Yeah.
and this is no jab at any tuber because there's it's just me personally. I got bored, kind of sitting behind a desk and talking over anime
Mm-hmm.
clips.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I have a camera. I'm a filmmaker. I know what I'm doing. I can go outside. I can film myself. And yeah, I started approaching it more as telling a story in a way
Mm-hmm.
instead of reviewing an anime.
Mm-hmm.
And with that approach, I kind of I added green screen to it. I started doing like little skits, and I now have fun when I record videos. It's stressful, but I have fun when doing it, and like writing a script and being like, oh, I can include this skit here, and it gives me more creative. It expanded my creative horizon because you film yourself doing a skit, you can basically do anything. When you film yourself in front of green screen, there are so many editing effects you can do, and it opens up so many doors. When you go outside and start filming like a scene, like I think for my recent Made in Abyss video, I wanted to capture nature because I was just
Mm-hmm.
like, I feel like Made in Abyss music goes well with nature. So I went outside and I found this sakura blossom tree, and I was like, oh my god, this is perfect. And it opens so many doors to basically so many more creative liberties, and it basically turns a simple anime review into this kind of creative story of taking the audience on this journey with you of how you feel about this show.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that biggest change in my style to approaching videos, probably the best idea and the best change for the channel. Because that's when retention started going up. People started being like, "Oh, I like this video because he's
Talking
not
about
just saying
yeah,
anime good, anime bad." You know,
yeah, yeah,
it's way more creative and way more attention grabbing to do that. And I think that was like the best change I've ever done for the channel. And with that change came, of course, the thumbnail change and the title changes because I could capture myself, I captured photos of myself from the video and put them in the thumbnail.
yeah.
And yeah, so I think that was probably the best change, and um, it kind of implemented the on the rise kind of style. So like now, when people watch an on the rise video, they have the expectation of what's gonna kind of happen, and it kind of makes me stand out from the crowd. With I mean the little audience I do have, it's still they still know what to expect from me, and they
Mm-hmm.
it's that quality expectation that I aim to meet every single time. So
All right. Okay, so let's go a bit back. All right, now let's talk
yeah,
about anime. How did you like get into anime? That was supposed to be like my second question. I just kind of drifted off a bit.
yeah, no problem, no problem. So fun RJ fact, and this has been going around my little small community for a minute now because I said it in recent interview I was in with
Mm-hmm.
another Anitube. I was born in Japan.
Oh my
Um,
God, it's RJ-san.
I'm not Japanese, and I was born in Japan. I was born on the U.S. military base. My father was a Marine.
Okay.
Um, so I was born in Okinawa, Japan. And growing up, the first show I ever watched was Pokemon, airing on Japanese television.
All right.
Um, I didn't know it was anime. I was 3 years old. I was barely cautious.
I think we've all
So
been there. To be fair.
yeah, and when we went back to the states, I remember just falling in love with shows like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Dragon Ball Z. Didn't really click that it was anime,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, and I eventually when I got into like my later years of elementary school, I realized it was anime, and I started to fall in love with certain shows I shouldn't have been watching, like Inuyasha at the time. Shouldn't have been watching
Mm-hmm.
it,
Okay.
but I was, and me and my sister we fell in love with anime. We realized, oh, this is anime. We started buying like anime magazines. Back then, they used to sell the actual English translated Shonen Jump, like the physical Shonen Jump volumes, not the
Mm-hmm.
volumes, but the actual big magazine in the U.S. They used to sell it, which was really cool because we would get it like when Japan would get it. We could like buy Shonen Jump and read the latest chapters of Naruto. Like nothing was digital, of course. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we just fell in love with anime, and ever since then, I just stayed with it. I think when I got to high school, around like 2012, I started to watch seasonal anime and realized, oh, this stuff comes out in seasons. So, here's when the anime comes out. Start learning more fun facts about directors and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm 25 now. I've been watching anime since I was 4. So that's
God
what
damn. No,
21 years.
21 years
I've
of
been
anime, mate. Like holy
I've been an
shit, two
anime fan.
decades.
Yeah, still going strong. I mean, because a lot of people think I'm older than I am because I talk about anime back in the day, but no, I was the kid
Back
who
in
was
my
in
day, anime used to be like this.
yeah, I was the kid who was in the anime community who shouldn't have been there. I was that 12-year-old who was chatting it up with the adults in the forum. That was me. I'm not that old. But I was there. I was there, and I was part of the community. And of course, it was online, so they didn't know I was 12. But
Hmm.
yeah, I've been in the anime community for 21 years and it's still going strong. Still
Man,
passionate about
21, mate. Like, holy shit. Like, I remember. I mean, I'll be honest. When I started watching anime, it was kind of like the same, with Dragon Ball, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon. There was this one anime called Blue Dragon, which I used to watch back in the day.
Blue
Yeah,
Dragon. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I used to binge watch that shit. But yeah, all of that. I wasn't aware those were anime again, so I was just watching it like cartoons back in the day. But then my sister was really into anime, and I was like, and there used to be this like TV channel called Animex here in
yeah, yeah.
here in India. So now it's like a streaming service because it went down twice. Back in 2012, they kind of stopped it because there
Mhm.
wasn't much viewers for the channel. And then later, when they brought it back, um, people who were actually watching anime in India were pretty much watching. They were pirating it, so there was no reason to really wait for the show that they wanted to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, but they did some really cool stuff. It was like the Crunchyroll before Crunchyroll was a thing because they had simultaneous airing. Like it aired like around the time Japan aired it, or maybe like half an hour after Japan aired it, so they can get the subtitles and stuff.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, so my sister used to watch a lot of anime back in the day, and she used to watch Fairy Tale, and she was like, "You gotta check this out. This is actually pretty cool." And I remember it was like early Fairy Tale, and
Yeah.
I enjoyed it as a kid. That was pretty fun to watch. And she also watched like stuff like K Project, which yeah,
Awesome.
classic. Oh man, that was actually pretty good. And there was this one anime that Letter B. Yeah, there we go, Letter B. That was another one that she used to watch.
Letter B. I read the manga for Letter B. I never checked out the anime,
Yeah,
but I read the manga.
it's like it's kind of like Violet Evergarden a bit, but not as
Yeah.
depressing. Yeah, but yeah. Yeah, those were some of the stuff I watched. Then, the channel went out, so I kind of stopped watching anime for a bit until like 2014, 15. So I watched Attack on Titan for the first time, and I was like, oh shit, I love this. And then Sword Art Online, that got me into, that just made me like stay with anime. But then, yeah, afterwards I started watching a lot of shows, and then it was around the time I had like a 3 month vacation. So around that time, I binged a lot of shows, and yeah, that
Mm.
just and here I am watching one season. My anime watching has become a lot less nowadays because I don't know, burnout I
Mm.
guess, or college, both. So yeah,
Understandable, understandable.
yeah,
Yeah, no,
yeah,
I've been,
yeah, yep.
I've
Continue, man.
been, yeah, I don't know. Really get bur I don't know how I don't get burned out with anime because I do watch a lot of it.
Hmm.
Um, because it's not the only thing I watch. I watch a lot of other medias.
Yeah,
I watch a lot of live action films as well. Maybe that's it. I don't really know. A lot of people keep asking me, how do you not get burned out? And I don't know. I just love anime.
I
I
think
don't,
I think the reason why you have burnout is just I think it's just for me personally the biggest seasonal that I watched where I would watch one show literally every day. I remember was when like ReZero season 2 was airing, part 1. Back then, I was watching ReZero, Sword Art Online, God of High School, a lot of shows that were airing back then. And I remember that was like the most stacked seasonal that I watched. But then afterwards, I've been like very apprehensive about like watching seasonals. I don't know why. I felt afterwards I was like maybe I shouldn't watch this weekly. I should just let the show finish and then just binge it, which has been my mentality for like an year now. I think because I don't know. Yeah, my patience is very low for seasonals now. It sucks because there's some actual like really good shows that I would love to watch weekly, but I'm just so lazy.
hey, nothing wrong with that. I understand. I wish I could. I'm the opposite. I'm impatient. So I Yeah, I wish I was a little more patient because I'm watching a show and I'm like, wow, it would be great to binge this. I mean, that's how I feel about Oshinoko right now. Like,
Bro, oh my god. Let's not talk
it,
about, let's not start about that because like episode 7 ended at like the most perfect spot and then they're like, "Oh yeah, there's going to be a delay for episode 8." And I'm like, "Fuck
yeah,
off." And this is coming
yeah,
from
yeah.
a manga reader. I read the manga. I'm caught up to that shit and I'm still like I need the episode like ASAP.
Yeah, so it's like Oshinoko and like the recent Gundam are like two recent examples of shows I would love to binge. I would binge them. I would absolutely love it. But I'm so impatient. I can't wait. So that's why
Man,
I either the
man
shows I do want to binge,
yeah.
I either ignore it until it's finished, or I just kick myself in the ass, because I watched it.
Like with like Gundam, with the new Gundam, I was wondering how everyone finished season 1, because season 1 literally ended with a cliffhanger, and everybody's like, "Holy shit, this is a cliffhanger! How are we supposed to wait for part 2 now?"
It was a brutal wait, but here we are. We're finally here at part two. But it was worth it. It was worth it because part two is really good right now. So
Man, talking about like weights, like the early Attack on Titan season 2 wait was one of the worst because I was there not as long as like 4 years, but maybe half of that. I was waiting for like 2 years for that shit. And I remember I was so impatient and this was like the worst accident I could have because YouTube recommended me videos of like manga stuff and I got spoiled. So I had to read the manga because of it. And
it
and it was just awful, bro. Like having to like read the manga just because you have like the most important part of the anime manga spoiled, like the whole Reiner Bertold stuff. That was what got spoiled.
yeah, that also got spoiled for me.
Oh
But
my god.
I wasn't really mad about it because it didn't really give me any detail, and I feel like after watching it still hit just as hard as it would if I wasn't spoiled because it didn't give me any detail about you know
How they did
why
it or why. Yeah.
or why or yeah or anything like that. It just told me they were. I was like, oh, that kind of makes sense because you look at the Colossal Titan and you look at the Armored Titan, you're like, they kind of look like Reiner and Bertolt, to be honest.
Yeah, that's
So it's
true.
like, oh, that makes sense. But when you actually watch the season, and you see the story kind of unfold, I think it still hits even with that spoiler because it was spoiled for me. It was like a major spoiler when Attack on Titan season 1 ended. Everyone was going around like, avoid this spoiler, but everyone knew the spoiler because the anime fans can't stay silent. So
Man, fuck,
it,
fuck,
was it was
fuck the fans, bro. Especially people
yeah
who spoil shit. Worst people ever.
it's kind of like common knowledge after you finish a show, sort of like a hunter situation. Like everyone knows now that we're going to the Dark Continent. Even if you haven't read the manga, you know that they're in the Dark Continent arc. Like it's kind of like that. It's like a thing that you just know after you finish an anime. That's kind of what the Attack on Titan spoiler was. But what we didn't know, what was not spoiled, was the kind of reveal of what's in the basement. That
Oh,
wasn't.
dude, that yeah, same for me. I didn't get that spoiled. I remember I stopped reading the manga on like the Midnight Sun chapter because I was like, how it just comes out very slow back in the day. So I was like, all
Yeah,
right, I'll just wait for it. I'll just wait for all the chapters to come out. And then a year later, the anime came out, and I was like, all right, fine, I'll just watch the anime. I remember watching the anime weekly, and yeah, it was fun. But then afterwards, I was like, you know what? Let's pick up the manga again. I think it was around like season 3, part 1 ended. I was like, you know what? Let's read the manga again. And then I picked it up from where I left it off, and it was. I find it funny how it stopped it at Midnight Sun, because literally after that chapter is the basement reveal, and I
yeah.
have no idea why I stopped it back then there itself. So I just had to pick it up, and I read it, and I was like, holy shit, what a plot twist! And then I think I ended it around like the whole um Marley invading Eldia part. I think like end games, yeah, end games, not end game stage, like season 4, part 2, I guess.
Yeah,
Or
I've seen anime only for Attack on Titan. I've never touched the manga, so
oh, good.
I'm good.
Good,
At
good.
least I made it wrap up because I have no idea how it's gonna end. So
Oh boy, you ain't ready. As a manga reader, you ain't ready, bro. Yeah, that shit. Oh man, Attack on Titan was such a right. But yeah, we're talking about anime that we got into. So I know everybody would ask you like, what is like your most favorite anime? But I'm gonna put a spin to that question. What is like the worst anime that you've watched?
what is the worst anime that I watched? I'm only allowed to name one or
Or three? Three.
three. Okay. That's a hard question. What is the worst anime I've watched?
Oh boy.
Um, I know anime that I hate, but I don't know if they're the worst ones I've watched.
I
Because
mean, you can say that.
off the rim, I want to say Fairy Tale.
Oh yeah, everybody has that.
And and a lot of people say, "Well, did you watch Fairy Tale?" No, 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 no. I watched Fairy Tale. I've seen the entire original series, and yes, I did read the manga as well. Like I gave Fairy Tale more than a chance. I finally dropped Fairy Tale in like the third arc of the sequel manga. So 100 Years Quest is where I dropped Fairy Tale. I've read over like 400 chapters of Fairy Tale to be honest, and I can safely say I don't like it.
Alright.
Um, that's an anime I absolutely hate. Another bad anime. I would say it's a really not really old. It's like early 2000s kind of anime that was just it was just boring. It was absolutely boring. It was called Galaxy Railways,
I heard
and
of it.
it's one of the most boring shows I have ever experienced. And this was when I first started watching anime. I when you first start watching anime, I don't know why anime does this to you, but you don't realize that there can be anime that you don't like. So you
Exactly. No,
watch
that is true. That is true. You're like in this like, trance-ish state.
yeah,
Like you're like, oh, everything's gonna be good. I mean, anime is awesome. This is like this medium that I just found that is like the most perfect
yeah.
thing ever. Yeah.
I don't know why every anime fan goes through that phase where they just they don't realize there can be anime they don't like until they watch an anime they don't like and they're like, oh god, I don't
I
like
don't
all
like
of
this.
this. And Galaxy Railways was that first one for me where I was just like, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. And as for the third pick is I don't know if this is a hot take because I don't know if this anime is still popular. I'm pretty sure it has a fan base,
Hmm.
and it's very memeable. But when I sat down and watched Lucky Star,
Oh
it
my
was
god.
the most boring, and I say this as a major slice of life fan. Love slice of life. But Lucky Star is the most boring anime I have ever watched. It is complete garbage. I don't understand how it ever got a fan base other than I guess cute funny anime girls not really funny at all. Just talking in a classroom. That's literally the show. It's just them. They go to a place, whether it's the main character's room or the classroom or the roof eating lunch, and they just talk for the entire 20-minute episode. And it's like that's it. And it is one of the most boring anime I've ever seen. Incredible with the memes. If you want a meme, go to Lucky Star.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
as
The thing
watching the
with
show,
the thing with
don't.
yeah. Oh, sorry, my bad. Continue. My
Go
bad.
ahead. Go ahead.
No, go on. My bad.
Yeah, I was like, it's incredibly boring. 10 out of 10. Do not recommend. Like, do
I
not watch Lucky Star. You're better off without it.
I think personally the problem with Lucky Star is that it's very out of the time because it didn't age well at all. I feel like for the time period it came out, it was funny, but now if you watch it, you're like, what the fuck am I watching?
See, but
Because
I disagree. I disagree. I watched it in the time period it came out,
wait,
and
you
I
did?
hated it. I
Oh, okay,
hated it.
okay, okay. I take it back then.
To each their own. I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
early 2000s anime fans, because that was like the peak of comedy anime back then.
yeah,
Was Lucky Star, before like Nichijou and stuff came out.
yeah.
It was clearly inspired by a Lucky Star,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I think Nichijou and like Daily Life of High School Boys do the comedy way better. They're way more interesting than Lucky Star will ever be. But when Lucky Star came out, it was like the talk of the town for comedy anime. It was like it was like what Konosuba is today.
Yeah.
And it, I finally checked it out. It was like a year after it aired, and I was like, I don't understand how you guys like this garbage. I don't get it. But to each their own. Lucky
Yeah.
Star is just an anime that I think I think Lucky Star is the worst anime I've ever seen.
All right.
Um,
Okay. Hot take. There we go. I think it's a hot take, man. Like, I don't know. Someone
I
might cook
mean,
you for that.
hey,
I mean, but I've seen people not like it, so I don't think it's as big of a hot take as it is. Maybe it would have been like 2 years ago. I mean, 20. I mean, like 10 years ago. But now, I guess everybody's chill about it. So.
I'm pretty sure a bunch of people watch this and be like, "What is Lucky Star?"
What? No, no, no. Lucky Star ain't that like old. I mean, people might
Okay.
know it because the opening is very popular. Obviously, it's like
Yeah.
one of misheard lyric staple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The opening is great. The
Oh,
opening is
the opening
fantastic.
is the dance is pretty cool. It's pretty
Yeah.
iconic too. But yeah,
Yeah.
for
The opening is iconic, but. I don't know because people the other day, not the other day, but like a couple months ago, were asking they didn't know what Haruhi was, and I was like,
oh,
what?
oh my god! If I find them, I will be inside their walls. What the fuck, man? How do you not know Haruhi? Like, oh
Yeah,
man.
they didn't know who Haruhi was, and I was like, what? People don't know who Haruhi is anymore? And it was like, yeah, there's like a good chunk of the anime fan base that doesn't know who Haruhi was, and I was like, she was like the poster anime waifu like of the 2000s. Like Haruhi was everywhere. Because it was Haruhi, Yoko, and I think her name is Haruka from
Yeah,
FLCL.
yeah.
The three of them were everywhere in the early 2000s. Every anime magazine, every anime advertisement, every anime con. The three of them were front and center because they were like the anime waifus back then. So it was like now I blinked and now people don't know who Haruhi is anymore. And I'm like,
It's
what?
one of those shows that really, faded away as it aged, like now nobody talks about it. Back in the day it was like the anime, that everyone wanted to check out. Like for me, when I heard the only way that I heard about a Haruhi was because I was in this Discord server and there's this guy who's like a huge Haruhi fan and he kept saying like Disappearance of Haruhi is like his favorite movie ever. So I
It's
was
one of the best anime films, if you ask me. One of the best.
it is actually true but I was like, all right, you know what? I'll give this a shot. So I watched I was so confused with watching the series because you know how the watch order is. It's all messed
Yeah.
up. Yeah, so I had to look up some guides and then I got the chronological order and shit. And then I watched it like that and I enjoyed the series, but Endless Eight, bro, like let's not talk about it. Oh my god, Endless Eight was something else. But yeah, then I watched the movie and I thoroughly enjoyed the movie as well. So, and I feel like it doesn't get the respect that it deserves, in my opinion. It should be a timeless anime, but it
I,
isn't.
I pretty much, if anyone were trying to get into like slice life anime in general, because I would say Haruhi is one of the goats when it comes to like slice life anime, even though it does have fantasy elements within its slice life.
Yeah,
I would say Haruhi is definitely one of the goats if you want to experience kind of like what slice life anime is in a sense. Haruhi and a couple of other shows would have to check out, and it is a shame because I do think it aged well. I mean, with depends on how you watch it, because I actually have a video on the Haruhi watch order,
oh yeah.
and I didn't watch it. I didn't know that I was supposed to watch it a certain way, but I watched it that way, accident.
Okay.
I don't think I watched. I don't think I watched it in chronological order because you're supposed to watch it in broadcast order, and
Uh-huh. Yeah, I might
that's
have
the
missed it.
way. That's the way the pirate sites kind of have it, and that's where I was watching Haruhi at the time.
Yeah,
They have it in broadcast order, not in chronological
not in the
order. Because
chronological.
Crunchyroll has it in chronological order, which I don't know why, but yeah. And I I watched it in broadcast. I watched it in broadcast order, and even in broadcast order, it was mad confusing at the end. Like I remember the last episode where it's just the character Yui just sitting on this train and people talking over her like
Yeah.
voiceover. And I was like, oh my god, this is not how they ended the show.
Yeah,
Like, this is not how they ended the show. But yeah, then they released that movie, and I remember watching the movie for the first time at a convention, and yeah, one of the greatest anime movies I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I,
that's true. That is true. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's up there. That's one of my
yeah,
yeah.
it was a fantastic film. But yeah.
Yeah. We ain't gonna talk much about it because people really need to experience the movie because it's just it's unreal. Such a good movie. But yeah, for me, like three worst animes that I watched personally. Oh my god. First one is the first anime that I really hated, and that was Al Noah Zero. You might have heard of it.
You don't like Al Noah Zero?
I did not, especially season two.
What?
I wasn't fucking with season two at all because with season one I was hooked. I was like, all right, this is pretty cool. But then with how things like happened in season two, I was like, no, this is no way we're doing this.
Are you a Gundam fan?
Yes, and I haven't watched Gundam actually.
Okay, so you've never seen the original, like the first Gundam.
Nope, I haven't.
So like Al Noah Zero, and then you probably wouldn't like it because Al Noah Zero is, like how Darling in the Franxx and like Megalobox
Yeah.
homage Washita no Joe and Evangelion.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Al Noah Zero is to Gundam. So it's like basically the same story, different characters, like an homage to like an older
Oh,
anime.
okay.
That's what Al Noah Zero is. It's like an homage to the original Gundam. I think I'm pretty sure it is. Um, but yeah, I mean, if you didn't like Al Noah Zero, it's like a modern day retelling, I guess, of like from a different perspective.
Yeah, but
But
the ending sucks. I still stand by it. The ending just
oh,
sucks.
that's a hot take. Al Noah Zero is great. Okay, but I
Nah.
mean,
It's like my
it's
worst rated show. I gave it like a one on my analyst. That's how bad it was.
not a one. What?
It's a show that I hate so much. Whenever people ask me like what's like the worst show that I hate, Al No Zero is like the first thing that comes to my mind. I'm like, yeah, guy, don't check out Al No Zero. It's garbage. That's what I tell people.
That's a first. Okay, all right. What are the rest? What are the rest?
Second one is a more recent one and one I thought of making a video of, and that's School Days. But the reasons are different. Rather than it being awful, I feel like that was a reaction that everyone, the people behind it, wanted. And
What is
you haven't watched School Days?
School Days? Oh, yeah, School Days. Okay.
Oh yeah, School Days. Yeah. So
Mhm.
it is supposed to be awful and very uncomfortable and very shitty to watch. I get that, but it was still very painful for me to watch because, oh my god, everything past episode three is just oh god, it is just
Yes.
it is just awful. Like holy shit, and I don't know why the last episode was actually satisfying. I was like, yeah, thank God, die, bitch.
School Days it's a universally bad anime. Like that's a common. Like the community has. It's like a Boku no Pico at this point. Right?
Oh
It's
my
like
god, for real.
you shouldn't watch this, and if anyone tells you to watch this, then that person does not like you.
Dude, the thing is, with me, the reason I was like looking through my plan to watch, and I was like, all of these are wholesome rom com anime, high school rom com animes, and I was like, you know what, fuck this shit. I just want pain and suffering. And the first thing that crossed my mind was School Days. And then there's this friend of mine who was like, who always said School Days is good for what it is. He never said that it's awful. He was like, it is supposed to be awful, so that's why it's good. So I told this guy, bro, I'm watching School Days, and he was like, all right, man, good luck to you. And then I watched the show, and then we were having this whole talk about School Days. We were like, "Ah, man, is it actually bad though? Is it actually bad though? And then I was like, yeah, this shit is bad. but then, but then the thing is, afterwards, I checked out like the visual novel stuff for School Days and past School Days, like the Cross Days, which is like a story that happens parallel to School Days, kind of like it focuses on another character, and it happens at the same time like Makoto, and he does his shit. But yeah, there's its Cross Days, then there's Summer Days, I think it was, which is a spin-off with Setsuna, like the lolly girl, the one that
Yeah.
went to France, yeah, with her. But I did check out Cross Days. I heard the manga was pretty good because in the manga, they have this character who likes Kotonoha, but she's, crazy about Makoto, and he's also cheating with, Sekai. And this guy's like trying to make her convinced, like, this guy's not good. But then he finds out that he's in the harm route of the light novel. No, it's a visual novel. Yeah, so that's like cross days. But yeah, they did a good job with the character. That was actually pretty good. And this dude, he's kind of like made fun of for looking kind of feminish. So he dresses up as a girl to cock Makoto.
Uh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, but by the end he gets found out by Makoto, and then he spreads like a rumors like, oh yeah, this guy likes dressing up as a girl and likes me and shit. That's what he said, and he said that to Kotonoha, and Kotonoha is like on her obsessive face. So he just goes to this dude and he's like, "You were trying to seduce him, weren't you?" And blasts off at him, and he gets depressed and somehow he recovers from that because of another female character in that. But yeah, you gotta that manga, that is something. It's actually pretty decent. It's not as bad as the anime though.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
probably won't. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, but School Days visual novel is something else. The whole like holy shit! I checked out all the endings for it, and I was like, wow, okay, this is cool. I will never read this, that's for sure. I mean, they did like stuff like, fully animated scenes for like the whole visual novel with voice lines. Unlike
Mhm.
most visual novels with just text and character PNG in front of you. And yeah, they have like fully animated ending scenes and stuff, and they have like 21 bad endings. The 21 endings, 15 bad endings, basically.
Dear God.
Yeah,
Dear God.
and and the endings can either end up as you with Kotonoha in a hotel room on Christmas Eve, or she gets pushed off onto a train and her arm on your hand, basically.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's
So
how. That's how. That.
basically, what I'm hearing is
Yeah.
you're a School Days fan.
No. No, I was interested because I wanted to see how it's like. I was like fascinated with how awful it is. So I was like, you know what? Let's see how worse it gets with like the visual novel and stuff. So I checked it out like that. I'm not a fan. I wouldn't call myself a fan of it because it's definitely not something that I'll check out again. But yeah,
Mhm.
it's interesting. That's all I can say about it. And there's this actually, there's actually a funny fact about School Days. So Makoto's dad, right? There's like this whole family tree of like their visual novel stuff. This goes way back because there's like another visual novel series that they were doing, and School Days is kind of like a spin off of it. So Makoto's dad almost slept with 15 different girls, right?
Great.
And five of them being his own daughters.
That's yep. Nope. Nope. Put it down. Cancel it. I'm never watching. Nope. No. Okay. No. Not gonna. Nope. Nope.
Dude, like, there's the whole big chart, right? And the thing is, with the School Days characters, it's only literally at the end of the whole tree. There's like a whole other thing going on. And and when I saw that chart for the first time, when I saw him with his children for like on the same fucking row, I was like, holy shit, no way this guy's a big cock. And then I was like, alright, this makes sense. Now I know why Makoto is the cock he is. He got it from his dad. What the fuck, man?
Nope. No. Not. Nope. This is why this shit's bad. Like I don't. Because why? Just why? Okay.
And he's a very terrible character too. He's much worse than Makoto. Apparently, I read it from like the wiki a bit. I'll check like
Yeah.
yeah, he's very yeah, he's a bad guy. Basically, that's it. But yeah, enough about School Days. because I want to save that for a video. Um, last worst anime that I watched. Okay, actually, you know what? I kind of forgot. Fuck. Now I'm having it hard. Actually, let me just go to my list real quick. I'll just check like the worst scored anime, I guess. Um,
School days is just that bad. You just can't you just can't think of anything else after that. I mean, what is worse than that?
for real, man. Like, I mean, school days is bad. Oh yeah, I can't believe I forgot this. It's X Arm. I actually watched 12 episodes of X Arm, guys. You heard it here.
You bet.
So, so there is this thing in this one Discord server that I'm in. It's called like the anime circle jerk. I might censor that. But yeah, it's like a thing where one guy, like we have like this order of guys in it, right? And we give shows to each other. So if I get a show from another guy, I give a show to another guy. That guy will give another show to another guy. Like it goes on, right? And in the first round, we had to give a show with certain amount of viewers. The show that I got was XR. And I was like, should I watch this or should I not? Because if I don't watch it, I get a punishment show that I had to watch if I had to get back into the circle jerk. So I was like,
X-Arm wasn't the punishment show? Like when
it was either X Arm or something else. But yeah, I was like, you know what? Fuck.
Okay.
You know what? I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do. No one ever did in the anime community. Watch 12 episodes of X Arm, and it is easily one of the worst piece of media that I've ever consumed, hands down, easily. And the fact that the school days isn't as bad, man, that's baffling. Like, holy shit. I and you know, it just gets worse from whatever they showed in the teaser, right? If the teaser is bad, the anime is even worse.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. I have not seen a full episode of X-Arm. I watched the first 5 or something minutes. I don't know. I didn't make it to the
Oh, bro. You know, like 15 minutes into the episode, they have like a Yuri kiss scene.
I just I didn't I don't know. I didn't make it that far. I watched like the first 5 minutes and I was like, no, this is what am I doing? I have other things to do. And
I remember like in the first 5 minutes, you already have like the scene where he's in the school and he's talking to his friends, and then he sees a mobile and he passes out. I remember.
it was
Yeah.
it was garbage. Like I don't understand. And I was like, what? Who made this? Who said yes? I'm gonna put my name on and put out for people to watch. Like, and why?
And I mean, more than that, I'm asking what Crunchyroll was doing with this. They actually stayed behind this. They actually put all their money on this, and they actually released it.
Like when the Crunchyroll people they watched it because I assume they at least check out the things they put on their platform.
And this
No
is a
one was
Crunchyroll,
hey,
dude. This is a Crunchyroll original.
so they definitely watched it. So like no one was like, hey, maybe we just invest in this. Like it's not turning out great. I don't know. I feel like the production was probably awful and
No. Even despite how awful the production is, they could have still made something better. Like this is literally a 7-year-old on Blender made it. It's that bad.
I feel like the production was. When I say the production was awful, I mean like the people, like the actual animators and stuff, probably didn't know what they were doing. And
Exactly.
clearly they didn't know.
Exactly.
They didn't care, or they didn't know what they were doing.
They didn't know. And you know what's even worse? They have like a very stacked Seiyu cast, a voice actor actresses cast. And I was thinking like, what did they think when they were recording this? Like they had to see the scenes while they're recording, right? So I was like, holy shit.
They probably thought, I'm gonna eat a nice good steak dinner from this check. That's what they thought. Like that, they were just like, listen, I didn't animate it, but I'm gonna act my ass off so I can get this check, and you know I can't blame them.
Oh man, like man, that I remember this. if 5 minutes of episode 1 was bad, then episode 2 was just even worse, and it just kept getting worse and worse. But the sad thing is, like, the concept of it is actually decent at best, because I heard the manga was actually pretty passable or good. I've heard two different things. I heard people say it's passable, and I've heard people say it's good. It's actually good. And when I watch the anime, it has a decent concept, right? Like, with the whole X-arm thing. But the problem was the production, because, oh my god, some of the fights just, oh my god. Whenever people complain about CGI, you know, I would tell them, like, but have you watched X-arm though?
Exactly. I mean, I see people complaining about like this recent season of Demon Slayer.
Oh
CG.
yeah, exactly.
You guys don't know what bad CG is, do you? You really don't know what bad CG is. Like, watch.
You don't know what I went through.
Watch X Arm. Watch Kamikatsu. Like these are.
I mean, with Kamikatsu though, I mean, it's kind of like they were trolling. Let's be real.
They had to be. There's no way they were just like, yeah.
Yeah, this is good. We are gonna put this on the anime. I think more than the CGI, I feel like the tractor scene was even worse.
It was terrible. Like, I dropped Kamikatsu in a.
Now you have to pick it up because it's just funny now. and even the studio admitted it. They just did it for the lols, the shitty scenes. And I remember seeing the tractor scene for the first time, and I was confused and dying of laughter. It was both.
I mean, yeah, but those are examples of bad CG. But I mean, yeah, X-Arm is.
X-Arm is the worst, easily the worst. So yeah, there's my top 3 worst shows that I watched: Alno Zero, School Days, and X-Arm. And I will die on the hill that Alno Zero sucks. Anyways, enough about that. But I would give an honorable mention. I would give it to. Man, should I say this? Alright, okay. Honorable mention, I would give it to Akame ga Kill. There we go. Boom.
You honorable mention to who?
Akame ga Kill.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm not the biggest Akame ga Kill fan. Okay. I enjoyed the anime. I know a lot of people really loved the anime. I mean, it's one of those anime that people keep suggesting even after it's in like
blasted 6-7 years and blasted by the anime community before being asked to.
It's like one of the most recommended shows that people give to any anime fan at this point. Like I always see people, have you watched Akame ga Kill? Have you watched Akame ga Kill? I think it is one of the most recommended anime, surprisingly.
I don't know nowadays.
How.
Man, like
I can see why you don't like it.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was okay. I thought it was alright.
Yeah, I mean, I just didn't like the whole. When you realize the whole anime deviated from what it was in the manga, and the manga was actually infinitely better. Just feel like you just feel like whatever you watched was for pretty much nothing. Because when I watched the whole thing and then I saw all of my favorite characters dying, the first thing I was thinking was, what the fuck was this writer going through? Why the hell is he killing off everybody he wrote and he built? And the last when that dude died at the end, I was like, why? That was one of the most pointless deaths in the whole anime. Like, he didn't even need to die.
Yeah.
And man, it was fuck that anime, bro. And the sad part is the manga is actually decent, and a lot of people don't read the manga because they're like, "Oh yeah, the anime is actually good." No, it's not good. Fuck off. It sucks.
Yeah. I thought Akame ga Kill was okay. I did go and read the manga to see how the manga went. And I was like, wow, okay, so he didn't kill off all his characters.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so I mean, yeah, but Akame ga Kill was okay. I mean, I don't hate it, but I definitely am shocked at every time I scroll down. Every time someone says, recommend me an anime, Akame ga Kill is up there. It's up there. I'm shocked about how many people still recommend the show.
Yeah. All
You
right,
know,
all right, all right. Now let's stick on to the topic of anime. Now that we've gotten all the shitty animes off, let's talk about what is, in your opinion, the most underrated anime that you watched.
the most underrated anime that I watch.
Yep.
Um, I've seen a lot of underrated shows. So when people ask me what is the most underrated anime I've watched, it's kind of difficult to choose. Am I only allowed to choose one again?
I gave you option of three. You can do three, but I mean, we took a while with the shitty anime, so I mean, you can do three. It's all
Okay,
good. It's all good. You can do three.
I'll make it quick. I'll make it quick.
No, it's all good. No,
Um,
take your time. It's okay. Uh, you know, uh, we take too long on a topic. It is like the most. It's very characteristic for our podcast to do it, so it's all good.
okay, okay. So because there's so many underrated shows that I just want people to just watch that I fell in love with.
Hmm.
It's hard for me to just pick, but I'm gonna have to go. One of the slots is gonna have to go to one of my favorites, which is it's not really underrated, but it's underrated in the grand scheme of at least the Western fan base. It's completely underrated in the
It's
Western
made in
fan base.
abyss, isn't it?
It is not. It's not made in Abyss.
Wait, no? Oh, damn. Okay.
It is the Two Aru franchise, the Certain Magical Index
Oh my
franchise.
god. Wait, it is underrated though? Is it?
In the Western fan base, it is. In the Japanese fan base, it's huge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But in the Western fan base, a lot of people know what it is. Some
Yeah,
people don't know, but a lot of people have not checked it out or either dropped it or for random reasons.
I did.
And
I'm
it
sorry, I
is
did. I did with like when I watched like 5 episodes of Index, I wasn't getting into it, so I kind of like put it on hold. AKA, I never picked it up afterwards.
I actually recently made a video on it, the Better
Yeah.
World Building Than One Piece video, and basically it's my second favorite franchise of all time.
Mm-hmm.
It's because the world is so immersive and connecting plot points of individual installment, and it is a lot of work to watch and read the anime and read the manga, and there's a lot of installments to it.
Mm-hmm.
it's it's just such an immersive world, and the way Kamachi has basically constructed his story is just one of the most fascinating things to me. The lore is fascinating. The writing is fascinating. I'll give people this: the start of the show is the worst part of the show.
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
the first 5 episodes are probably the worst in the entire franchise. But after you get past those and you get into like Railgun, Accelerator, Mental Out, all the spin-offs and all the intricate details of Index, you start to see why this is so beloved. And it's one of my favorite anime franchises.
All right.
Um,
Yeah, I'll definitely give Index a shot. I know I will give it a shot. It's just like those first 5 episodes. It's just so hard to pass by, man. Like, holy
yeah.
shit. All right. What's your second show?
I'm gonna go into obscure territory now
Oh
because
boy.
I'm trying to give every anime their spotlight.
Okay.
There is an anime that I absolutely love, and it's a science fiction slice of life, and it's
Mm-hmm.
called Robotic Notes.
Robotic Notes. All right. I never heard of it actually.
And it's funny that no one has ever heard of it because I was looking up Robotic Notes, and I was like, why has no one ever heard of it? Um, and it's by the same creator as Steins Gate,
Oh, okay.
and it's by the same creator as Steins Gate, and it also takes place in the same world. Steins
Okay.
Gate started out as this visual novel, and there's another. It's Steins Gate, it's Robotic Notes, and then there's another series that I
Mm-hmm.
forget what it's called at the moment. And all three of them are takes place in this same visual novel, and it's like a fate situation with like not routes, but it's like a different story,
Uh-huh.
and they're all take place in the same world. Um, and Robotic Notes got an anime, and Steins Gate, of course, got an anime, and I don't think the third one has gotten an anime yet.
Mm-hmm.
But Robotic Notes, it was a good 24, 26 episode anime. It's a slice of life kind of sci-fi anime about these kids who want to build a giant robot.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. It's one of
Oh
my
yeah, by
favorite
the way,
slice of
is
life.
it Chaos Head or something? The other third one?
What?
No, Chaos Head, there's like the other series by Mages. I remember
Yeah,
there's
yeah, Chaos Head.
yeah, there we go.
Chaos Head. That's the one.
Yeah, I think Chaos
Um,
Head had. No, does it have an anime?
it
Uh, it actually does. What the fuck?
okay.
Yeah, it does have an
Uh,
anime. It came out in 2008. It has very shitty scores.
so yeah, it's Chaos Head, Steins Gate, and Robotic Notes.
Alright. Oh, wait, I've heard of Chaos Head. It got banned on Steam. I remember. It got banned on Steam for like a brief period. I remember this.
It's called. I'm looking at it now. It's called Science Adventure. It's like a visual novel, and they're all three games
Alright.
within said visual novel.
Mm-hmm.
And well, actually, no, it's more than three. To be honest, damn.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Cult Nine is also another one.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, they're all from the same studio.
Mm-hmm.
And Steins Gate and Robotic Notes. And Steins Gate's got an anime. They advertised it. It was written by the same. No, not Steins Gate. Robotic Notes got an anime advertised written by the same guy with Steins Gate. No one watched it.
Wow.
So, yeah, shout out to Robotic Notes. If you're watching this, go check out Robotic Notes. It's a great show.
Mm-hmm.
And then third one. Let's see. Um,
Alright.
Third one is a comedy anime that I
Okay.
enjoyed. It's 12 episodes and it's very short, and it's called Good Luck Girl.
Where have I heard of
And
it before? I've heard of it before. I feel like I heard of it
and
before. Yeah.
it's called Good Luck Girl, and
Mm-hmm.
it's basically about this girl who has excessive amount of good luck. And the god of luck basically comes down and it's like, hey, I have to take some of your luck away because your luck is making everyone else around you unlucky.
Oh, okay.
And it's a comedy anime, and she's like, no, I don't want you to take my luck away because she's a stuck-up brat. She's
Mm-hmm.
like, no, I don't want you to take my luck away. I want my luck. So it's basically a comedy anime about the god of luck trying to take this girl's luck away.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Alright.
and it's 13 episodes. It's very short. It doesn't have a season two. It probably won't get a season two. It's not that popular.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, if you want a short, kind of funny comedy anime with a great story, then Good Luck Girl, check it out.
Alright. So, yeah, for me, when we talk about underrated shows, the first one would be most definitely Shujagaki Review Starlight. That series is so criminally underrated. It's inspired from Utena, like the wait, what was their full title name again? The
Lieutenant
yeah,
Revolution.
Utena, yeah, that. It's inspired from it, and it's got like the same sort of elements. It's very much
This is the
similar.
one with the talking giraffe, right?
Yeah, exactly. The one with the talking
Mhm.
giraffe.
Okay.
The Shujakaki Review Starlight movie came out like last year, I think, or the year before, and it is one of the highest rated movies in analyst, I think, at the moment. I think it's like
Oh, wow.
yeah, sixth highest rated of all time, actually. But it is one of the most underrated franchises out there right now, and
Yeah.
oh man, it's just so good. Like the things behind it, like the subtle storytelling that it has, and especially the movie. Oh my god, it's like one of the greatest, best movies that I've watched. It's up there along with like Disappearance of Haruhi. Amazing
Oh, wow.
movie, yeah, amazing movie. Like, oh my god, that shit blew my mind when I watched it for the first time. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, I remember when it was coming out. I don't know which season it came up with. I didn't watch it in the season it came out, but I
Yeah,
remember everyone was talking about it because it's about these. It's like they do like a stage play, right?
stage
And they're like
play, yeah, stage
they're
girls,
fighting
yeah,
stage play and like
yeah.
just talking draft.
Yeah,
Um,
even Gigak had like 3 seconds of talking about it on his like anime and
yeah,
whatever year it came out video.
everyone was like, "There's a talking draft and girls are fighting on stage. It's awesome."
But
And
it's
I was like, "Yeah, I'll check it out one day."
I
It's been on the list forever.
yeah, but it's beyond that. To be fair, like yeah, the first 4 episodes is kind of like they're setting up the stuff, but then afterwards, the second half of the original show is just oh my god, that is just insane. Like the second half of it, and then the movie just makes it even better. Like holy shit, like one of the best shit I've watched easily. It has a manga which is kind of like a different story. It's kind of like an adaptation of their stage play, or I think it's the other way around. I don't know, but yeah, the manga is different. Yeah, it's like the adaptation of the IRL stage play that they do. So for the stage stuff, they do a different story, and they have the manga which adapts it, and they have a mobile game, gacha mobile game. Don't play it. It's not as good as the actual stage play or the anime. They got like they went from like what 10 characters to like 40, 50 characters and shit. It's not that great, but yeah. Uh, the anime, everybody's got to check it out. It's like one of the best shit that I watched easily. Like, oh my god, like man, I can't like understate it. It's just that good. I remember when I was on River's podcast, like the one time that I went there, I was talking about this. I was like, yeah, this is the most underrated stuff. You gotta check it out, like ASAP. Like, come on, man. Like, yeah. Second most underrated show. This is where my idol background comes in, because there was this one phase that I was watching a lot of idol stuff. It's this 2021 show called Idly Pride, which is wait, was it? Well, it was 2021, or yeah, 2021. So the premise of it is what interested me, because it's different from your typical idol show. It's not like a certain show that recycled its same premise for like 3 seasons called Love Live.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the school is in danger. We gotta make an idol group and save it. It's not that. Idolmaster is up there with good story, obviously, because one of the that middle section is like one of the best. But Idly Pride literally starts off with like this one idol. She's like super popular, kind of like from Oshinoko. She's like stupidly popular, and then one day she gets into a car accident, and she dies basically. And then so there's this guy who was managing this girl. He's like pretty young, high school student. I think he passed. Afterwards he like graduated and shit. He was trying to run this idol group, and she returns as a ghost, right? Kind of like Anohana. Like, she returns as a ghost, stays around him, and she's like, she wants to, see how things turn out, and for him to, be in peace and stuff. It's kind of like Anohana, actually, now that I think about it. With like how the girl stays around and stuff. But, yeah, the premise is interesting for me personally. That premise is way different than 90% of idol shows that I watched. One, two, it's got good music, like consistently good music. Because I talked about it on one of my like idol anime video that Idly Pride is like one of the shows with consistently good music, because they have like 5 different units, and each of them have their own style of music, and all their music is good, which is very rare. Yeah. 2 and 3, the ending is actually really good, and had me sobbing the whole the whole night, basically, because that ending was just so good. And it also has a very weird spot on my heart, basically, because the voice actress of the girl of the character that passed away, she recently passed away. You might heard of it. This. I think it was last year. There was this suicide case of like this voice actress. It kind of got big, and she voiced that character from Sword Art Online movie. What was her name again? Fuck. Let me just Google it real quick. Sword Art Online. Ordinal Skill, I think it was. Man, how am I a Sword Art Online fan? I don't know the characters. Fuck. Yeah, Yuna. Yeah, Sayaka Kanda. She voiced both the characters. So yeah, and Sayaka sang few songs for the Idly Pride series as well. So, and yeah, her songs were like one of my favorites too. So when I heard the news, I was like, holy shit, no way, because yeah, even from like Sword Art Online when she did like insert songs for the movie, and again, Idly Pride. There's like two songs in it, just amazing songs by her, and then just hear that she passed away, it kind of felt like shit. So yeah, it kind of has a weird spot on my heart. That's for sure. Idly Pride, but yeah, I mean, if you guys like idol shows, there you go. Idly Pride is one of it. I don't know why it's underrated. I feel like it's very underrated in the West and probably in Japan too, because they don't really have a lot of like overseas um well, what's the word for it? Like they don't really, advertise it in the West, you know. And a
Yeah,
lot of a lot of idol
I
shows do that.
in general are not really watched in the West, to be honest.
Yeah. And last show that I think is most underrated, and this is a show that I actually came across randomly, and that is Fukumenki Noise. Have you heard of it? Fukumenki Noise?
Thank you, Alex. Let's
Yeah.
see.
It's got like a very average score. It's a wait. Let me just check the genres real quick. I mean, let me check the tags real quick. It's a shoujo anime.
Okay. Yeah, I know what this is. I've never seen it, but I know what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, Colleen. Let's ask Colleen. She would know for sure. Yeah, but yeah, Fukumenki Noise is pretty good. It's not like the greatest anime that I watched, but I feel like it's pretty underrated for what it is. It's a pretty good love triangle show, and it's got good music. And the crazy part is like Saori Hayami, like the voice actors for um, fuck Yor from like Spy X Family and stuff. You know how her voice is, right? Very soft and well spoken, right? She sings a song for she sings like 3 songs for Fukumengi Noise, I think, and oh my god, like I thought this was a different person. She literally screams and shit because it's very metal-esque songs, and her voice is just insane. I was like, no way, this is the same person. Like I was so blown away because, goddamn.
That range,
Yeah, man, voice actress range is just insane. You can't tell which one is which. But yeah, that's one show that I think I would recommend everyone. It's a good love triangle show. It does its job. But you have to pick up the manga after you finish the anime, which I haven't, sadly. So there you go. But yeah, honorable mention probably would be Idol Master or Tenshi no Tamago for me. Tenshi no Tamago, that's an interesting story because I got to watch it recently on my anime circle jerk thingy. Last month I watched it and I was like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. You don't get it until you watch like 15 analysis videos. So there you go. Watch it if you have like good amount of time to spend because it's it's one of those shows. And Idolmaster obviously because to be fair I would put it above Idly Pride. But yeah, Idolmaster, there's a certain character arc like in the middle and especially at the end as well. There's like this very amazing character arc. These 2 character arcs had me sobbing. Like, fuck. Like, oh my god, there's this specific moment in that anime. Oh my god, that shit blew my mind. And I was like, holy shit, this is like the best thing ever written. But then it didn't. But yeah, Idolmaster is up there as well. So yeah, that's all my underrated shows. To be fair, man, I could go on, to be fair. There's like there's Sakurako-san. Yeah, have you heard of that one? Wait, let me just actually check the whole title because it's in Japanese for some reason. Yeah, Beautiful Bones, Sakurako's Investigation. Have you heard of that one? It's actually on Netflix.
I can tell you I haven't watched it, but
It's a 2015 anime. It's not that popular, but it was on Netflix. Weirdly enough.
oh, okay, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So this one, yeah, it's been on my list for forever because it's like she's a detective, right?
Yeah. She's
Yeah.
like a bone. It's pretty interesting. She just looks at like bones and stuff, and she finds. She's not technically a detective. She's like a what's the word for it? She's like a fossil researcher, I guess. I guess. Yeah, kind of like that. She's not exactly a detective. So yeah, it's called osteologist. There we go.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
on my watch list for a minute. Yeah, but I'll watch it eventually.
Yeah. All right. So that's all of that. We went. We talked about the worst anime that we watched, the most underrated shows that we watched. All right. Now let's talk about this season. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So what do you think of this season? Because for me, me and a lot of my friends, we did this seasonal review thing. Seasonal review, or more like seasonal what to watch video, right? And I remember my friend titling it as "Is there anything to watch?" As in, like, there's nothing to watch. But then we were proven wrong, obviously, because there was something to watch.
Mhm.
So, what is your take on like this season and how it's been thus far?
Well, I can't go into detail of like what are my favorites, because I do have a video coming out of the
All right,
season.
all right.
I don't know if this will be out before June 15th, but
Mm-hmm.
if it isn't, just know that I recorded this before June 15th.
All right, all right.
So yeah, so I can't go into what I think is like the best of the season or any of my rankings or anything like that. But I can, as the season as a whole, I've been very open with on Twitter and on my community page that I enjoy it. I think this season is really really good.
Yeah,
Um, there are a bunch of shows that people can get into this season, and I mean this probably depending on how fall and summer turn out, might it's a contender for best season of the year.
yep,
You
exactly.
know,
Yeah,
last year was fall. I mean, fall killed it.
yeah, yeah,
last last year was fall. This year might be spring. Spring might take it for best season of the year because I mean, you have Oshinoko killing it. You have Yamada also
yeah.
in Soccer After School.
Tengoku
Um,
Daimakyo,
yeah, Heavenly Delusion is also killing.
Insomnia, the Insomnia anime.
Yeah, yeah. The what else? Hell's Paradise as well.
Yeah,
Like you have all these good shows that you can just get into. The Dangers of My Heart, I know, is one that
it's
you're really picking
controversial.
up.
It's a bit controversial.
It started out controversial, but now
Now
people are
people
starting
watch
to
it.
like it.
Yeah,
Yeah, now people are starting to like it. So yeah, it's things like that where you still have continuing shows like the new Gundam and Vinland Saga
yeah.
and there's there's an anime to watch for every type of anime fan this season, and those
Mm-hmm.
seasons tend to be the best seasons
Yep.
because I know in summertime, right now the kind of only big titles that are kind of only anticipated titles that are coming out is like Mushoku Tensei and Bleach and Jujutsu Kaisen. So like
Yeah.
isekai and shonen fans will be happy, but everyone else will probably be like on downward.
Yeah.
So it's but season like this where everyone is kind of have something to watch. Like every community is just like, yeah, our show is airing right now. Tend to be the best seasons because it's kind of when the anime community can watch anime. So this season's been really good. Yeah, there's a show for everyone.
Yeah. So when we did that video, right? We were looking at each of the anime, and we were like, "Oh, this is this, this is that." When we saw Yamada-kun, at first my friend was making the joke of like, "Oh yeah, it's Yamada-kun and the seven bitches," because Yamada-kun, ha ha ha, low hanging fruit. Fuck you, bro, for making that shitty joke.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's Yamada-kun, and we were like, "Oh, this is just gonna be a generic romance." With edgy protagonist and very happy woman thingy, but it turned out to be different. I said Skip to Loafer was gonna be great, and thankfully it is. Um,
Yeah.
we made fun of Insomnia. We were like, oh yeah, this is just Call of the Night, but there's no vampires. And we even made the joke of the VAs being exactly the same, actually. Funny enough, the protagonist, the dude who voiced the protagonist of Insomnia, also voiced, the guy in the vampire show. You get what I mean, right? It's basically the
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
people. And we were like, oh, he didn't have to record any lines or anything, ha ha ha, because they're the same anime. Oh yeah, we got proven wrong, but I did still say at the end of the day that it was gonna be a good show because it's just gonna be a wholesome romance show.
Mm-hmm.
The then Dangers of My Heart. There was one of my friends were a manga reader, so he said it's good, but we were just making fun of the protagonist, the kid, we were calling him emo and shit, which he kind of looks like he's emo, like he's going through his emo phase, listening to My Chemical Romance and shit. But yeah, what else? Yeah, we saw like the countless isekais, and we were like, okay, can we do a take a shot every time we see an isekai challenge and actually destroy our kidneys or something? Because good lord, there was a lot of isekais. But
Yeah,
it's not as
yeah,
bad as last season, but it's actually pretty decent this year. We saw the which one was it? Yeah, one of my friends made a complaint about like anime being very mass produced. Like everything feels generic, right?
mm,
Like you have your generic isekais, you have your generic X san loves a Y san something, or you get what I mean, right? Like the Shikimori-san can be cute or something like that. There's something really going on with that because there's a lot of shows kind of similarly named like Shikimori-san can be cute or you get what I mean.
mm,
And there was like this whole talk about how anime feels very mass produced and very feel like they're just releasing anime for the sake of releasing it. But I'm kind of glad that isn't the case because from this season there's like a lot of different shows, as you mentioned. Like there's a lot of good shows for different genres and for everyone to watch. And when we ended the episode, we said either fuck. We made this whole joke about there's this like one ONA somewhere called Chibi Godzilla, and we were like, this is gonna be show of the season. But but I did say like Oshinoko might be anime of the season with how it had with how I'm a manga reader obviously, so I know what the fuck is gonna go. But I'm kind of happy that it's kind of like the case right now. I'm really happy that it is actually really doing good. But yeah, like excluding Oshinoko, I'm kind of happy with how all the shows really have performed. But I kind of feel bad for like Jigoku because there's a lot of mixed opinions about it. Like especially with the production and stuff. You see, like on Twitter, like every goddamn week, you see someone
yeah.
complaining about 5 frames being looking wonky and shit. It kind of sucks because I feel like the show's pretty good. It does its job pretty well, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think the show. I think the show is in very intriguing, and I, I, I just every time I hear someone complain about how they're not enjoying the show because of the animation, to each their own.
Yeah,
But I
exactly.
always point to my animation is not that important video because I feel like people animation is great, but it's not the end all be all. Like
Exactly. Yeah.
especially when you it's not necessarily bad animation. It's just like more so like mid animation.
Yeah,
Like
it's just decent.
nothing,
Nothing out of the
nothing,
ordinary. Exactly.
nothing else Paradise is badly animated. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not like X Arm.
Oh my god.
So, but it's not. It does. It's not the quality that people are expecting from Mappa. Which I mean, to be honest, Mappa is probably like they're probably just bumping Hell's Paradise, which is sad because it is a great manga. But they're probably Hell's Paradise is like their in between show, like because
Mm.
they're about to release Jujutsu Kaisen season 2, and they spent all their money on Chainsaw Man, so it's like Hell's Paradise is kind of the make the money back show. We
Yeah,
like
exactly.
we need people watching our stuff, so which it sucks because Hell's Paradise deserves better, but at the same time it's not
Bad.
terrible.
Yeah, it's not
It doesn't
terrible. Yeah, exactly.
make the show terrible,
I mean, when I
and
think of like terrible shows, I think of the God of High School, bro. Like, holy shit.
yeah, out of high school looks amazing, but the anime is god awful. They skipped a bunch of chapters. We don't care about any of the characters because they didn't connect us to anybody or anything. Like
Exactly.
the first I think 20 chapters of the manhwa
Yeah.
webtoon
Yeah.
is the first episode of God of High School.
Yeah.
Like that's insane. That's insane that they crammed that much in there just to skip to the fights. Like
It feels more like a fight fest than having any sort of story to it, basically.
exactly. So that God High School is golden proof that your anime can look amazing but still be garbage because no one liked the God High School anime because the story was garbage.
Exactly.
People can still enjoy Hell's Paradise even though the animation isn't looking like Demon Slayer or Jujutsu Kaisen. It's still enjoyable. You don't they put I think the anime community puts way too much emphasis on animation and especially when it comes to action shows. They put way too much emphasis on animation looking great. And I blame One Punch Man. Ever since One Punch Man
Oh,
aired.
dude, it's so true.
Ever since One Punch Man, which no shade on One Punch Man. I like One Punch Man, but ever since One Punch Man aired, action shows have never recovered. They action shows have to look like One Punch Man or better for people to
Even
want to get.
One Punch Man suffered from it. Like when season two came out, everybody was like, "No, this looks terrible," but it wasn't terrible. It
That
was just decent.
it wasn't terrible. It was decent, and JC Staff did the best they could. Which, to be honest, some of the shots were still pretty great. It just wasn't,
As good,
Madhouse.
yeah. It wasn't as good as the first season, but it still did its job.
Exactly, and it's things like that where it's like, especially with action shows, like it's like, oh, if this animation doesn't look good, then it's ass, and it's like, no, it's just the animation wasn't the best, but is the overall show ass or ready to throw a show in the mud? Like, no, come on, guys, like, come on. Like,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like whenever I hear people talking, like I've heard this argument. All right, people said that slice of life animes deserve amazing animation, and I talked in one of my videos about like how that shouldn't be the case, like because one thing that slice of life shows do really well is they have decent animation, but their story and their characters are just so immersive that you don't really notice it and shit. And I remember I was talking about Oregairu in one of my videos, like season two and season three, because yeah, different animation studio, like the whole art
yeah,
style changed and shit. Feel was doing it, and I talked about how at first you might pay attention to it because it's a different art style, but as you watch the anime you kind of forget about it and you're just used to it because the characters and just the story and the dialogue, especially Oregairu's got like the best dialogue ever. But
yeah.
yeah, those really get you so immersed to the point that you just don't care about it. But yeah, it was such a weird argument because people were saying like, "Oh yeah, slice of life shows look terrible" or something. I heard someone say that. I don't remember which show it was, but they said the
Which
animation looked terrible that they couldn't watch it. And I was like, who the fuck cares about animation about a fucking slice of life show? If the show is pretty immersive on itself, why are you so butthurt about animation of it? I don't remember which one it was.
counterpoint, a Kebi Sailor uniform. Slice Life anime does not look terrible.
Exactly.
Kebi Sailor is a cinematic masterpiece. Like, I don't, it didn't need to look that good, but it did. Like, I don't understand. It was just like, listen, this anime about this young girl really excited to make friends going to be the best looking anime of the year.
Oh yeah,
Like,
wait, I got the show. It was the Angel Next Door. It was Angel Next Door. Yeah, I rem-
uh,
yeah, I remember in Anitrends like for the seasonal with like winner of the year, winner of the season shit, right? For winter, and Angel Next Door won it, and a lot of the Magical Revolution fans were all pissed off about it. They were like, "Oh no, that deserves it." And I remember one person specifically saying like, Angel won even though it has the worst animation of the top 10. An anime with an animation like this doesn't deserve this place. And I was like, animation don't mean shit, bro. Like, shut the fuck up.
yeah, I mean, although I was one of the three Magi Ryuho fans, but
Okay.
I don't think Angels Next Door deserved. I don't think it the quality of the show wasn't based on the quality of the animation. Like, as long as the animation is good, it doesn't be great. Magi Ryuho definitely had better animation, but it doesn't make it the better show.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It's Magi,
Yeah,
what makes Magi Ryuho the better show, in my opinion, is the story,
story, exactly, yeah.
not really the animation. Yeah, I
Yeah,
understand where you're coming from.
yeah. But yeah, okay, talking about people complaining about pointless shit. Have you seen, like, the recent controversy of My Little Senpai? And how people got mad about that one? Oh my
Uh,
god. It was one of the most awful things that I have ever read. I went through the quote retweets and some of the shit that I've seen on it was just oh my god. I wish I didn't do that. Here's like a rundown of things that I read. One, people saying that anime shouldn't be made for men anymore. Two, people saying that all anime should be gay and never about for men, and everything should be either yaoi or yuri. That's another one. Three, shonen fans saying that their shonens are better because this is made for losers and cocks. And yeah, four, exactly this thing again. The show is for you know virgin people who doesn't get any bitches. And I was like, where does this come from? Like, it's just it's your most generic slice of life anime, workplace slice of life anime, and everybody's so worked up. Oh yeah, there was the other thing. They were like, oh yeah, the lolicons watch this show. That was something else that I saw, and everyone made fun of that. That was deserved though. Everybody was like, yeah, we went from age of consent is 18 to age of consent is 5'5", which is very fucking true. But yeah, man, like some of the complaints, oh my god, like what the fuck, man? Like, what's your take
so
on that whole thing? Like,
I understand. I'm gonna approach this in an objective way.
yeah,
I understand where the opposition and kind of the disdain for the show comes from. And if you don't like that type of show, I mean, you don't like that type of show. I mean, there's a the argument of fan service has been in the anime community as long as water has been on Earth. So it's
all right,
it's yeah. So it's like if you don't like that type of show, you don't like that type of show.
mm-hmm.
It's like I don't know, oh, another one of these, great. They're making another one type of show I don't like, and I do the same thing for isekai all the time.
Yeah, same,
So
same, yeah,
it's I understand the disdain for it, and but I think there is a gray area within kind of. I would never personally attack somebody for liking the show
exactly, yeah.
because I think this goes back to kind of the
Uzaki-chan,
how do I not Uzaki-chan in a way. Well, it is Uzaki-chan's another example of
yeah,
this, but it goes back to kind of the culture surrounding anime.
mm-hmm.
It goes back to I don't know if you remember. I think it was under your tweet that I actually
The
tweeted the
waifu
definition.
thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I
um,
had one of my mutual block me about that, by the way.
and it's yeah, it goes back to the culture of anime, and I feel like a lot of new anime fans
Yeah,
um, are coming in and they don't understand or they don't simply agree with that kind of the culture surrounding anime. Because you look back 10, 15 years ago, anime fans knew kind of what waifu wasn't a cringe word.
yeah,
And it's a thing that we use for endearing characters. Doesn't necessarily mean that we're sexually attracted to said character. It just means that that is the female character that we really like. And husbando was used to the same amount, and it was just common. It was just a common thing. Like degeneracy in itself was like a common joke,
yeah,
and now it's like there is a certain part of the anime community who are very loud that do not degeneracy,
yeah,
and it's clashing because degeneracy and anime culture are synonymous, whether they like it or not.
yeah,
And it is to the point where it's just like you're not necessarily wrong per se, but at the same time it's kind of enjoying degeneracy in a harmless way.
yeah,
They kind of don't understand. So my take on that is, if you don't like fan service, if you don't like those type of shows, okay, fine. But there's no need to personally go out of your way to attack someone that does or block someone that does, unless that person, takes it way too overboard and starts acting like anime is real life. Then
yeah,
yeah, that
yeah,
person
yeah,
is a creep. You should definitely, you know. But at the same time, if someone says, "Well, I'm excited for my tiny senpai," and that's all they say, there's no need to clown on that person. There's no need to.
yeah.
Well, you can clown on them if you're friends or whatever, but there's no need to go out your way to block them and hate them and call them a pedophile, because it's like
Oh my god.
what are we doing at this point? Because on top of that, both Uzaki-chan and this lady in the show are grown women, and short women do in fact exist.
Yes.
That the short people exist. That's a thing. So this is not completely unrealistic. Of course, the anime character herself is completely unrealistic. No one acts like that in real life. But that's the point. It is an escape from reality. And if someone wants to enjoy that escape from reality, then let them enjoy that escape from reality. Plus, they're harassing you for it.
Yeah.
Like I think that is basically what I'm trying to say is Twitter doesn't understand that you can enjoy degeneracy harmless way.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they don't understand that. And it's like even if you don't enjoy degeneracy, you shouldn't come at the people that do, because I mean there is a subsection of the anime community. I mean just look at like something like Trash Taste. Like
Oh my god.
they're all degenerates.
Yeah.
Every last single one of them, including their extended friends. But they enjoy it in a harmless way. They're not out here being creeps. They just like anime titties. Like
Yeah.
they just like anime titties, and it's things like that that I don't think anime Twitter specifically understands, and that's why controversies like this happens. I do understand the people that are just like, yeah, another one of these shows, whatever.
Yeah.
But people that are out here calling people lolicons and pedophiles because they liked a post about My Tiny Senpai, you're taking it a little too far. They're
Yeah.
not a lolicon. They're not a pedophile. They're just excited for another degenerate anime.
Yeah.
They're probably going to enjoy watching. Like, and I think that knowledge of degeneracy, you can enjoy degeneracy in a harmless manner, even if you don't like fan service, was kind of common knowledge in the anime community 10, 5, 15 years ago. But now the anime community has become so big, a lot of normies, I'll just call them that, normies are coming in, and they're just like, what do you mean you can enjoy this in a harmless way? No, you can't, because outside of the anime community, degeneracy is degeneracy, and then everything else is everything else.
Yeah.
So I think that is kind of the clash that we're seeing now because of the popularity of anime, basically.
I think not just that, because another controversy that I've seen is, as a Honkai Star Rail player, was the whole there's this one person that drew a fan art of a guy with two females, and these two females are people who, I mean, are characters that people ship each other. So everybody harassed this guy for drawing this because because they are gay and they shouldn't be together. This guy and girl shouldn't be together and shit. And they were claiming lesbian erasure and blah blah blah. And everybody was like, "But this is just a fan art. Why are you so pissed about it?" And like, oh man, it was. And the thing is, it's not even canonically it's not like canonically confirmed thing that their sexuality isn't canonically confirmed. But from like Honkai Impact, both of them kissed as kids or something, so that they say that's canonically accurate. Not in this universe, but whatever. It's a totally different topic. But yeah. And then people were calling others pedos for nothing. Like it was such a weird case. And the thing was, I was scrolling through a lot of replies during that time because this artist, he's from, I think, Indonesia or Philippines. So this guy literally fired back at everyone that harassed him, trolled the fuck out of them, and it was one of the most funny shit that I've seen on Twitter, easily. Because he literally owned all the trolls, and even one of the people, like, literally deleted their whole Twitter page. That's how bad it was. One, yeah. Two, some of the arguments that I saw was just, why? Like there was like zero correlation. I read someone calling someone a pedo for it, and then I made like a quote tweet saying, "All right, you're calling this guy a pedo for this? Then you guys bring up the point of these two girls kissing when they were kids. So what is this double standard that you guys are showing? Like, I was like, what the fuck, guys? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is with the anime community now. I feel like, especially on anime Twitter, Because outside of it, I feel like everybody's kind of like the same. Especially with analysts. Like whenever I talk with people on analysts, I remember I made it like the post about the whole waifu thing, and on people analysts were like, "Yeah, it's not a big deal. I mean, we've been using the term waifu for years now, so there's nothing to be mad about. It's just people being mad for being mad. There's nothing, no big deal about it."
It's only Twitter.
Yeah,
And it's funny you bring that up because I that's what the grass video is about.
yeah,
Um, Basically, how widespread the anime community is, and that even if one place thinks like this, the other place doesn't
doesn't. Yeah, I mean, but
at
even with
all.
YouTube, like we still have videos of like Anna Joey talking about what waifus are. And I remember
Yeah,
watching it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, these are characters that we consider as well, we consider to have as wives, despite the age and shit, right?" And
it's not necessarily. Yeah, it's not necessarily wise. It's more so an endearing character. The term comes from the Japanese romanji of how you say wife.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I was just like quoting what he said, like
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the video. Yeah, and the thing is, I mean, even on YouTube, like people still use that term. I use that term, so you use that term. We all use that term. It's this
A lot of
thing with it's this thing with Twitter that is the problem. And I remember one person. This person is pretty big on like the Yuri side of like Twitter, anime Twitter and stuff. This person quote tweeted me and said like, "Oh yeah, people on Facebook and Instagram complain about this word too." I was like, "I don't see these. What are you talking about?" Like I'm on any. I mean, I'm not on Facebook because I don't use Facebook. It's boomer shit. But I use Instagram pretty often. I scroll through anime reels and shit, and I don't see people complaining about waifus. In fact, I see thousands of reels with, you know, why the term and stuff. So I was confused. Like, where's this complaint coming from? And it's a whole like thing of itself, right? Because then people would bring up stuff like age and sexuality of this character and blah blah blah. It's a whole rabbit hole that nowadays I just don't bother with because one, the people that are arguing with you don't care about what you have to say. They will still refute it. They'll call you names and then they'll just block you. That's Twitter in a nutshell.
Yeah, it's right. It's best. I mean, this is ironic coming from me. It's best not to get into Twitter arguments
Yeah,
at
yeah.
all.
Bro,
Um,
oh man, I mean, man, the amount of Twitter arguments I got into is insane, and it's just because I have like a short fuse when it comes to the stupid stuff, especially some of the stupid stuff that
that's
people
not
say.
it. I think, like I said earlier, the problem comes from, or the issue comes from not trying to invalidate anyone's
Yeah,
opinions or anyone's
exactly. Yeah,
morality or what. But I think the issue comes from the fact that we do have now more people within the anime community. Now that the general consensus, the things that were in the general consensus of the anime community has kind of dwindled down to a minor fraction of what it was back when most like back when I got into anime.
yeah,
It's dwindled down. There's not a lot of things that the general anime community can come to a consensus about because there is so much of us now. It's
yeah,
like it's like things like waifu, whether the term waifu is okay depends on who you ask. Whether whether it's okay to simp over like a anime with high schoolers. It depends
yeah.
on who you ask. It depends on who you ask at this point, and that's because the anime community has gotten so big.
Yeah.
So like that, yeah. And
It's
to
a
be honest,
clash of moralities. I feel like because the general consensus, as you said, like they see outside of anime community again, like degeneracy is degeneracy, like you said. Yeah,
I wouldn't consider it a clash of morality, more so a clash of how people
yeah. No, I meant like how people see the
yeah
things. Yeah,
yeah, more so a clash of perspective
yeah.
in terms because a
Perspective.
lot
Yeah,
of people the argument is this is fictional. I would never do this in real life, obviously, but since this is a fictional character, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
yeah.
Um,
And the other side is
yeah,
like this is fictional. That's why I do this.
yeah. The other side is this is fictional. That's why I do this. The one other side is even if it's fictional, it's still weird or whatnot or whatever. And it depends. For me, it depends on the situation. et cetera, et cetera. But
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, people are gonna Twitter's gonna do what Twitter does. So
Yeah, there's nothing we can do about it. The sadder part is, the more we complain, the more they will get on to our ass. Because you know how Twitter is with Anitubers. For some reason, they have a hate boner for us.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, because
yeah,
talk bad about the anime that they like.
yeah. The Demon Slayer Twitter community does not like me. But that's fine. That's okay. I don't like that.
I like every single time I look at someone talking about anti-Twitter and just hating. Like I remember when Giga posted the tweet of him and Vinland Saga's mangaka, right? The interview, and I saw a quote tweet saying that, oh, this guy being the face of Anitube just tells you how shitty this community is. That's one tweet that I saw, and then who was it? This was recent about the Anitube thingy. Yeah, it was Brandon. You know, like Brandon Riley, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. He made the tweet about like people going after Mother's Basement for making a video on what was it? I mean, fuck, I forgot his name again. That isekai, the troll isekai, and he
yeah.
said, yeah, he titled the anime as bad on his title and thumbnail, and everybody was like, oh yeah, this guy's ass. And then there was like tweets of people saying to go kill himself and shit, and Brandon was like, what, people didn't learn anything from the Oshinoko episode of, say, this hate and stuff. And then there were people on Brandon's ass saying, why did you have to bring up Oshinoko, because this thing's been here for a long time, and if you can't handle it, just get off Twitter. One, two, Anitubers suck. I don't know where that came from. Anitubers, all they do is sit on their desk and talk nonsense about the show that they watch, or just make weird narratives. That's another tweet that I read. And I was like, why? Where is this hate coming from? Is their ego so hurt by because they just didn't like a show of yours that you're just hating them for no reason? Because before I got into like Twitter and stuff, I will be honest, I'm not a huge fan of Mother's Basement personally, because I wasn't a huge fan of his Sword Art Online videos. I wasn't a huge fan of his review stuff outside of, like, I enjoyed his opening analysis videos. That's like one of my favorite videos of his. But outside of that, I wasn't like a huge fan of his videos. But that doesn't mean that I would go out of my way to say, to go off himself or something. I would never say that to a human being, unless if, with my personal friends and we were having a joke or something. If that's the case, maybe. But yeah, yeah. So it's so weird because even though I'm not a huge fan of Mother's Basement, like I wouldn't like go out of my way to hate someone like that, Like
Yeah.
it's and even to Anitube, like I don't watch a lot of Anitube anymore. But back in the day, I was so obsessed. I used to watch like Joey, Garnd, all the trash taste guys, and Gilgag is one of the reasons why I do YouTube like the way I do, and also many other Anitubers as well, and I now that back in the day I used to like very much I felt like a sheep. I would agree to whatever that guy says because I remember when I got into the Anitube like thingy, and the first thing I saw was people hating on SAO, and then I was doubting on it because I was like, wait, is SAO that bad though? Like, and I had like a conflict within myself. Maybe SAO is ass because I didn't know how to look at it from a different like from my own perspective back in the day. But then, as I started watching more media and stuff, I started to form my own opinions about it, and that's when I was like, okay, I don't. That's when I learned not to agree with like every single take. I don't agree with how Joey says School Days is a masterpiece and SAO is ass. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with Connor saying some stupid shit about anime as well. I don't agree with Garn. Well, what does Garn say? I don't know. Maybe domestic. Kanajo is actually decent, I think. No, I think he said it was ass. I think he said it was ass. But yeah, there are takes that I don't agree with. But the thing is, I don't label the whole community of Anitube because of it. I don't hate the whole community because of it. In fact, I am a part of this community now. I talk about anime, and whenever I talk about anime and stuff, there's one thing that I always say in my videos. Sometimes I say it, sometimes I don't, but because of how redundant it is. But yeah, one thing that I say, this is all my opinion. You're free to disagree with it. Don't come and hate me for it. That's one thing that I always say. Because
Better than me.
yeah, like you can form your own opinions at the end of the day. You go watch the show that I'm talking about. I don't know why you're watching it because I would spoil it. That's another thing. But yeah, go watch the show, form your own opinions about it. And if you like it, like it. If you don't, don't. And just don't hate the person just because they have a different opinion about you. That's all I have to say. With like, especially with this Anituber people just hating on Anitubers for no reason whatsoever, because they don't make objective points or some shit. I don't know. Weird obsessive behavior.
You're better than me. I mean, if I had to tell you to go form your own opinion, but yeah. Either way, I don't. Let's see. What was I gonna say?
Yeah.
I just I don't. I mean, all of us get some hate. I mean, like I said, the Demon Slayer Twitter fan base doesn't like me because I said the show doesn't have good writing.
I mean, the one hate that I get is for my name because I call myself the anime weeb. Everybody's like, "Oh yeah, you're a weeb. Get out of here." Especially when I'm on like football Twitter or maybe any other side of Twitter. Everyone's like, "Oh, you're just a weeb. Get out of here." I'm like, okay,
yeah,
childish. Okay,
so, yeah, I get hate from the Demon Slayer community and pretty much some of the Shonen community as well.
Yeah.
I know Mask did that whole video about him being burned out, and he got hate for that. Mother's Basement did the Let Goku Die video. He got hate for that.
Yeah.
I mean, Colleen gets hate all the time from Shonen fans.
Shonen fans for yeah.
That's because she likes shoujo. Like
what?
I know, Goofy when he was on Twitter, got hate from One Piece fans, and then everyone else also gets hate from One Piece fans. So
yeah,
we all get hate from different people. I mean, I can go on. The list goes on. But the list of Anitubers I know, every last single one of us gets hates from somebody. River gets hate from currently Oshinoko fans because he said Masha was better.
No, he gets hate from me because I'm one of them.
I'm one of them. I'm one of the River haters. No, shout out River. Inukyu got hate when she blew up with the Shonen Girls video. Like,
yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember that.
Basically, every Anituber that I talk to, I come across, we all have stories of
hate. Yeah.
It's hate. Archie goes out of his way to make people.
Oh,
mad.
bro, Archie's the biggest troll I know. Yeah, like, bro,
that's what he's there for. Shout out to Archie. But
like, bro's in there just to troll, man. So I remember the one time I talked about like how people were so judgmental about Mappa's shit, and he was on my ass on it. I was like, bro, what are you doing? He was like, oh no, Mappa's ass, and then we were having a whole ass argument. Yeah.
Yeah, he's there to troll, but so we all get hate at some point. I think that does just come with the job, but that doesn't mean that we can't criticize it. So I know I understand Brandon's point. That doesn't mean we can't criticize it because it does. Not everyone can take it, and it shouldn't be a requirement to have tough mental skin to talk about anime online. That shouldn't be a requirement. And
See, the thing is,
unfortunately, it is, but it shouldn't be. And if someone wants to, if a content creator wants to complain about how it shouldn't be, then they have every right to say it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Like, especially after something that the anime community was talking about. Like, because he is right. You can't go from, oh my god, Oshinoko episode 6 was so great. It was so realistic, looking into this, into the mind of someone who sees online hate, and then turn around and tell Mother's Basement to go kill himself. Like what are you doing? Like the hypocrisy that people really do have on that app, and Twitter is just going to be Twitter, which is why it's best
not talk about it.
Not just keep scrolling. Don't engage because that's what they want. That's what they want.
Engagement.
They want someone to just yell at, basically.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that you talked about, like everybody having tough skin. Let's go to like Oshinoko. Let's go to what it was based on. Hana Kimura. She's a pro wrestler who was playing a villain character, which is a heel. And these guys get the most heat from the fans. Like, I know it personally because I'm a huge wrestling guy. I hated people that were kind of like that back in the day. There was like Seth Rollins who was playing heel, and I hated him with all my heart. And there was like this one point where I would have broken my TV if I had a chair when he won the championship and shit, like that. So these people, they play a villain role, right? And with Hana Kimura, it's not from her work that she got all the hate from. It's from the reality show that she did, and even in the show they were talking, even in Oshinoko they were talking about how they picture each people in their show to, certain roles. She was playing a role in that show. She got all the death threats and shit, and she couldn't take it anymore. And this is coming from a pro wrestler. Again, with pro wrestlers, it's even worse than Anitubers and anything, because there are people that don't know kayfabe is kayfabe is a thing, and people will genuinely hate people for it. Genuinely hate pro wrestlers for it, like for their character on TV and shit. But yeah, if a pro wrestler has such a hard time dealing with harassment and stuff, then what about us normal people who talk about anime and shit? How would we feel about it when people come out of their way to just harass us or hate us or send us death threats and shit? It's so hard, I just don't get why people are just so toxic about this whole shit just because you don't agree with a certain opinion or shit. But yeah, it's a very sensitive topic, that's for sure. Yeah, man, Twitter is just ass. Why
On Twitter.
why are people like that, man? Like, what the fuck? But yeah, all right, let's come back to anime, because we went all the way. We went from anime this season to people talking about anime to Anitube. They hate the Anitube gets them, blah blah blah. Let's talk about anime again. So we talked about 2023, this season of 2023. Let's talk about 2022, because I feel like it's one of the most overlooked seasons. Years in anime. For me personally, one of my it's up there as one of my favorites, because you got Spy Family, we got Chainsaw Man, we got Attack on Titan season 2, we got Cyberpunk Edge Runners, which for some reason I feel like nobody's talking about it now. We got like Mob Psycho season 3, we got Yofukashi no Uta. Fuck, I can't speak. And Bocce the Rock, Summertime, we got all these shows. What is your opinion about the last year of anime that we got?
If I'll tell you here, because we're here. But if you want like a detailed, like me going into the actual
no, like your general take on it, I think that should be.
Yeah. I was saying if you ever are interested.
Yeah, there's the Anime 22 video. I know.
yeah, Anime 22 video broke it all down. But either way, I thought 2022 was a great year for anime. Like I said earlier, fall killed it. You had Chainsaw Man, Bocce. I forget everything that aired in fall, to be honest.
Yeah.
So much. The year as a whole was really good for anime, and I think it showed us that anime is kind of like the new generation of anime can kind of hold its own.
Yeah, and for me personally, when I talk about again, whenever I talk about season anime, every time when we talk about it, the first thing that comes to my mind is that criticism my friend made about being mass produced. And now that you talk about it, it came to my mind again. I was like, where did that criticism come from? Because
it comes from the massive amounts of isekai.
Isekai, yeah. But the thing is, we don't watch the massive amount of generic isekais. That's the thing.
If you don't watch it, if you do, then you'll probably think anime is mass produced. But yeah, Mob Psycho season 3, the Blue Lock,
Oh, Blue Lock, so good, man.
Bleach came back, To Your Eternity came back, like it was
and Eminence and Shadow.
Eminence of Shadow, Akiba Maid War, The Gundam Witch from Mercury, Do It Yourself, like Arknight's got an anime, Golden Kamuy Season 4, Raven of the Inner Palace. Like, these are all good shows that came out in the same season.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely fantastic. And that's just fall, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Summer we had, you know, Call of the Night, Devil's a Part-Timer, my anime of the year, Licorice Recoil, Made in Abyss came back.
Mm-hmm.
The Rent to Girlfriend fans got their other season.
Fuck that.
And we're constantly having good anime, at least one or two good anime each season.
Yeah.
2022 was a fantastic year for anime. I mean, Spy X Family, Kaguya-sama as well. Summertime Rendering.
Oh man, so underrated.
Yeah, Komi-san, you know,
Oh.
your boy Kang Ming. Like, these are all good shows. Love After World Domination, you know, The Executioner, Her Way of Life, all great shows. I would recommend Dance 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 Sudu, which was one of my personal favorites of 2022.
Yeah.
The 2022 was an excellent year for anime. I mean, anime really, really killed it. I mean, and we started off strong. We started off with what? Attack on Titan.
Yeah, exactly.
We started off with Attack on Titan. My Interest of Darling blew up. Like, you know, that year was amazing. Actually,
Yeah.
for anime.
Yeah.
Oh, and is 2023 gonna beat it?
Maybe.
2023 has a lot of announcements, but I don't know what season we're gonna see because I'm excited for a lot of 2023 anime.
Oh man, Jujutsu Kaisen is gonna pop off. That's one that's up there because
Yeah,
I feel like everybody now, the manga side of Jujutsu Kaisen is kind of like kind of shaky because it's kind of been kind of rushed for a few chapters now, so there's things about that. But the anime, oh my god, it's just. First of all, the first few episodes is gonna be another arc for now, but the second half, Shibuya arc, I'm telling this here, this is gonna pop off, and it's gonna, oh my god, everybody's gonna fucking thrive on that arc. Like everybody's gonna love it.
yeah, I'm ready for it. I mean, I'm an anime only, so I'm ready.
Yeah,
For it.
I mean, as a moderator, I'm just saying, man, Shibuya arc just blew my mind. It got me hooked into Jujutsu Kaisen, and it made me feel things. That's all I'm gonna say. It's amazing.
Yeah. So, and you know, we even have new animes being announced that, you know, they haven't had a release date just yet.
Yeah.
So 2024 is already looking like it's gonna be another great year for anime, and yeah, so it was a good year for anime. I think it was a really good year for anime. I don't really believe in the whole anime's mass
Produced, yeah.
I do think that there is some merit to it with all the amounts of isekai and garbage. However, if you don't like isekai, then don't watch isekai. I feel like the problem is that people have a hard time finding the
Good shows.
10 or 12
Yeah.
good shows that do have a season.
Yeah.
And yeah, basically. So.
Yeah. Actually, I was gonna talk about this because when you mentioned announcements, next season we're getting Horimiya. What was it again? What was his name again? Horimiya Piece, right? Or Horimiya Missing Piece. I remember few people saying this. This is literally the day one patch of anime. And I remember even Quintessential Quintuplots is getting like a season of contents that they missed. And then everybody's like, oh no, this is now going to be a trend. Actually, I wanted your take on it because when people said that, I was like, wait a second, they actually have a point here. It's kind of like a day one patch of anime. So what's your take on that?
I think they have a point because with Horimiya, the original anime OVA was this like chibi version. Everyone's like, "What is this?" And then the newer anime, I think 2021, when the anime came out. Everyone's like, "Finally, Horimiya is getting the anime it deserves," and it was great. And everyone was watching it. Everyone loved it. And then that last episode, everyone was like,
"This is it.
Just ended."
This is it.
And as a manga reader, I did read the manga Horimiya.
Yeah.
As a manga reader, they did skip. Like from episode 11 to 12, I was like, "Oh my god, they went straight to the graduation chapters. What happened?" Like,
all right,
but it happened. So with the Missing Pieces anime, it was kind of needed because I felt like they didn't realize that Horimiya was going to be as popular as it was.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because the anime kind of sphere of the community didn't really know or know what Horimiya was, even though it was one of the top rated manga. It
Yeah.
still is one of the top rated
Yeah. Yeah.
manga.
Yeah.
The manga community knew what it was, but the anime community didn't really know what it was. So I think Cloverworks, when they made the anime, didn't really think it was going to be as big as it was. So like, oh, we're going to give it 12 episodes and then we're going to skip to the graduation and ended there. Then when it ended and they saw the reception, they were like, oh my god, people want more of this. Now they're going back and they're adapting the basically the missing pieces.
Yeah.
The watch order is going to be insane, but but
Oh Lord, we're going back to the Haruhi days now. Holy shit.
yeah. So and I think I agree, but I'm glad that they're going back and adapting that because if Horimiya was going to get another anime, then this would need to be it, and it's not going to be that hard of a watch order. You're just going to have to stop midway of the first season and then go watch Missing Pieces and then finish the first season.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm thankful that Cloverworks realized their kind of mistake in that part where they were just like, oh, the anime community actually loves this anime. Let's actually adapt it fully.
Yeah. But really, I just hope it doesn't become a trend though, because then animation studios, they will be like, oh yeah, we can skip skip these chapters.
It would depend on the series
Yeah.
because they all, every anime technically takes a chance.
And skipping, yeah, especially with light novel shows, they skip a lot of content so they can squeeze it in 12 episodes. Yeah.
Not really skipping, but it's more so they take a chance on making the anime in general because they don't really know if it's going to be a success, and they put so much money into it and time into it, they don't know if it's going to be a success, right?
Yeah.
Of course, if it's a good studio, they try to make it their best. But with shows that are instant successes, there are definitely going to be successes, like a Chainsaw Man.
Mm-hmm.
They know they take their time with it. They adapt it fully. That's why Chainsaw Man got such a good adaptation because they knew they're going to watch it. People are going to watch it. So with things like that, that's kind of why you even see with shows that do pick up with season 1, like a Jujutsu Kaisen, they're like, okay, well, season 2, now we're going to really amp it up. Now we're going to, I mean, season 1 did look great, but I mean, season 2 is looking even better. Yeah. So it's like, now we're going to really amp it up. With shows like Horimiya, unfortunately, like, we don't know if people are going to like this. We don't know if people, so let's dip our toe in the water and see. It depends on the show, really. So if you have a manga that people are just like, this needs an anime right now, 9 times out of 10, it's probably going to receive a really good adaptation, like a Free Rent that's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Going to receive a good. Oshinoko.
Yeah, Oshinoko.
Oshinoko is
shit. The love and care that they've given for Oshinoko is just insane. The first episode,
it's a very popular manga. Everyone knew that Oshinoko was going to get an anime, and when creating the anime, they knew that people were going to watch it because it had a huge fan base already with the manga. Yeah. So it's like, and then its sister series, Kaguya, is another example of the other side of the spectrum, where when Kaguya first came out, they had no idea that it was going to be as big as it was.
Yeah.
They just dropped it and people liked it, and then you look at the second, third season and the movie of Kaguya, and you see that the animation quality, the direction, the writing, all of it is
much better,
enhanced. I mean, the first season was good, but the later seasons
just became better.
Yeah, enhance it in comparison because they now know that people are watching it, so they put more passion, not passion, but they put more effort into it because they're just like, people are gonna watch it. So it depends on the show, really.
Yeah, but like one of the things when I talked about like Bokutachi no remake, I talked about like light novel things getting adapted, and I talked about skipped content a lot. I remember especially with Bokutachi no remake, the pacing was kind of a bit too fast at times. But then I was like, I mean, it's a normal thing with light novel adaptations. It's kind of a bit too quick because they have way too much. This many pages of content to fit in 20 for a 18-minute episode, so there's that. Yeah, when I was talking about, man, one day I will make that Sword Art Online video, and that thing is gonna either give me good fans, or they're gonna be good amount of haters for it. But yeah, even with like Sword Art Online adaptation, I feel like I remember the first two seasons, especially, I don't know what it was. The first season was good. Good. First arc was good. The second arc was awful. And this is coming from a very hardcore Sword Art Online fan. Fairy Dance is like one of the worst arcs. Season 2 was decent. But then there was this whole shift in tone and in characters and everything in analyzation. Right? And I was thinking, what the fuck happened? Then I heard director changed, and especially, your point kind of, now that you talked about like how, especially with the reception that anime, the source material has, and how they would translate it with the anime, it kind of makes sense for me because I remember when I watched Alicization and how much better it was, and especially. And I think it started with like ordinal scale, where they switched up the animation style and how they started to, make Kirito a lot more better, Asuna a lot more the characters better, but most importantly, the animation style just became miles better than what season 1 and season 2 had. And then with Alicization, it wasn't the same anime all of a sudden. It went from like harm shit to actually a good anime. Like, with the depth in characters and with animation quality, we can talk about it. The animation quality was insane, but the characters, like, they had more depth than, they had in season 1 and season 2. Season 1 and season 2, Kirito felt like he was a harm protagonist. When in Alicization, he felt like a different person. Like, he felt like a human for all of a sudden. And, yeah, I mean... Like, now that man, what am I even trying to say? But yeah, like, light novel adaptations, right? Yeah, wait, I deviated a lot. I don't know what I'm saying right now. But yes, light novel adaptations. Or adaptations in general, like, especially with, like, light novel adaptations, I feel like they take the liberty in skipping a lot because they have to. Like, I remember with Toradora, they actually skipped a bit, but it doesn't feel like they skipped a lot because all the pieces seem to align properly, and then you get shows like Sword Art Online again, where they skipped a lot to the point like, what the fuck is happening? Why is everything getting skipped? Because I remember when I watched Sword Art Online back in the day, especially the Aincrad arc, I felt like it ended way too quickly. Like, it's only 12 episodes, and this is like the main shit. This is like the thing. Or maybe not, when you think about like the overarching story, it's not really the thing, but still. Sword Art Online, this is where things take place. Why is it only 12 episodes? There's that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they can take the liberty of skipping a bit, like with light novel adaptations, but that's not the case with manga adaptations, because they have to have some details in it, or they have, the better it is, the more they, not skip, the better it is. I feel like, again, Chainsaw Man, when we were talking about Chainsaw Man, like, I think the adaptation of it is just amazing because it's almost a 1-to-1 adaptation by this point. I don't think they skipped a lot. I don't even think they skipped that much, and this is coming from a manga reader myself. Then there's Gotobun. I fucking hate what they did with the anime, especially season 2. Like, Quintessential Quintuplet season 2 might be one of the worst sequels that I have ever watched. Hands down, with the amount of shit they skipped and altered. So because of that, I went ahead and read the manga, and then I found out, oh yeah, they switched up a lot of stuff. Fuck you. And then now they have the whole, we're gonna fill up all the spaces of the skipped chapters by releasing this version of it. Well, like the kind of like the Horimiya missing piece sort of shit. So I was kind of like, oh no, is this going to be a trend now and shit? Anyways, we were going on for a bit. We've been diving out of topic for a while. But yeah, let's talk about summer 2023. What are the animes that you are looking forward to?
Right now,
Yeah.
it's let's see, Mushoku Tensei.
Alright, for sure.
For sure. Of course, Bleach, Jujutsu Kaisen, Horimiya. But as for the new ones, they're not like continuations. Zombie 100
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm definitely checking that one out.
is going to be one that I'm excited for. I read the first 20 chapters of that manga and I enjoyed it heavily, so I'm very excited for this anime.
I like the
Um,
style of it from like the trailer that we saw. It looks very
yeah,
unique.
it's going to be cool.
All right.
My Happy Marriage
Yeah.
is another one that I'm excited for. I'm a huge supporter of getting more shojo anime
Yeah.
because that's when I started watch. I started watching anime when shojo anime was when all they made. So
Okay.
uh, now that we don't have as many shojo anime anymore, there's a shojo anime hole in my heart that needs to be filled. So yeah, I'm excited for the new shojo anime. And what was the one? There was one more. I was just like,
Is it the
ooh,
vending machine anime that is gonna be the anime of the year?
no, no, it's not that. Um, but it Undead Girl Murder Face and Murder Farce. Sorry.
Uh huh.
Uh,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, there.
that
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I see
the
it.
supernatural one is the one I'm probably most excited for.
All right.
Uh, okay, and then that's kind of it.
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, it has to be the vending machine isekai. That's gonna be anime of the year, hands down. Anime of the season, anime of the year for sure. But let's be real. But yeah, for me, it's kind of like the same. But also the what was that? What was the anime? Fuck, what was his name again? Oh, give me a second. Yeah, the girl I like forgot her glasses. That one. That one's up there
Yeah,
for
that
me.
seems like going to be a cute one. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a cute one. But there was like this whole debacle about this animation again. Like there was this one shot of the grass looking weird. And to be fair, I'm kind of on this. That kind of looked weird, but yeah,
I mean,
the studio that is working on it,
go ahead.
Gohan's, yeah,
So it's gonna look weird.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's just their style.
yeah. Gohan's did K Project, they did Handshakers, and now they're doing this. So well, I'm not surprised that it looks weird, but yeah, I mean K Project was very ahead of its time in animation style, and it actually looked really good. Handshakers though
Oh
was
yeah.
just weird, like straight up weird animation. So yeah, and I remember there was this whole thing about Gohan's being an ass studio or something. I remember some people saying that they're like, "Oh no, this is a terrible studio" or something. I don't remember exactly what it was about, but yeah, there was this talks about like, "Oh, it's Gohan's animating it. Oh no, it's not gonna be good." Like there were like talks about that, but who cares? It's a slice of life at the end of the day. So I just hope
Yeah.
yeah. I hope it's just good. But yeah, we talked about 2023. All right, I wanted to ask this before, but I didn't get the opportunity to ask it because I asked you specifically about 2022. But what is, in your opinion, the best year in anime? Well, at least for anime. Sorry.
Ever?
Yeah, ever.
Oh wow,
You've been
that's
in here for like 2 decades now. So, what's like the best year that you've, you know, been able to experience?
um. I'm just gonna make a it's hard to compare because seasonal anime. When I talk about the best year of anime, seasonal anime hasn't really been around. Not been around, but hasn't really taken off for that long. It's only been in the last like 5, 6, 7 years that seasonal anime has kind of like this has been this season, right? Like you look back like 10 years ago, and all the classics that everyone raves up, like Gurren Lagann, Cowboy Bebop, all of them, they all came out mad seasons apart. By the time by the time I got into anime, they were already released.
Yeah.
So I watched them all together.
Hmm.
Um, so a lot of people expect me to say the years the anime came out, but I can't really say that because actually looking at the years, Cowboy Bebop came out in like what 95, like then Champloo came out 25 to
2000.
05, like
Yeah, man,
yeah.
that anime is
It's
that
like
old. Holy shit. It just shocks me. Yeah.
it's like yeah. To me, I experienced all of those shows in a year.
Yeah.
With actual anime, they didn't come out in a year.
Hmm.
So for recent memory, I gotta say, 2021.
Oh, for
2021
sure.
was an amazing year of anime. Had Horimiya, Mushoku Tensei, ReZero came back. Jujutsu Kaisen aired. Odd Taxi Anime of the Year.
Oh
Um,
man, for sure.
um,
Wonder Egg.
it was
No,
just
no, Wonder Egg was ass. My bad.
Under Egg was good until the final
Yeah, final
episode we don't
episode.
talk
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
Um,
What do you mean? Where's the final episode of Wonder Egg Priority? I don't know what you're talking about. There's never an episode 12.
there was never. It sadly we didn't get an end.
Yeah, it just
Attack on
got
Titan,
canceled. Yeah, that's it.
Attack on Titan, the final season aired. Doctor Stone was airing. Slime was airing. Beastar season 2 was airing. Like it was just
Kobayashi made a
such.
comeback.
Yeah, Kobayashi made a comeback to Your Eternity 86.
86 Part 2.
Like,
Holy shit. Peak fiction. There we go.
yeah, VV was out. Like, it was such a good year for anime. Megalobox season 2.
Oh,
Oh my
man.
god, that
Classic. Classic.
was amazing. Gridman, which Daizainemon is the second season, came out.
Yeah.
Um,
Evangelion, the movie.
Yep, Evangelion, the movie dropped its movie. It was just such a great year be an anime fan, and on top
Yeah.
of that, a bunch of other obscure shows that were also equally as good. I mean, it was
Bokutashi no
just
Remake is up there for me
almost.
personally, unlike the obscure anime, because that was relatable for me to some extent. Have you actually watched Bokutashi no Remake?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you gotta check it out, man. For filmmakers and like people who have been in that industry, it's like one of the best anime they can watch. Because
Not bad.
yeah, it's like it's kind of like what was that anime's name again? Wait, remake? Wait, hold up a second. No, actually, let me just pull it up. I'll get the recommended anime from that. Bokutachi no Remake. There we go. Yeah, Real Life. It's like Real Life and Sakurako mixed together. It's like they have the concept of real life where guy's life is ruined. He doesn't have a good job. He doesn't do the job that he wants to do. So he gets an opportunity to go back in time and get to go back to his like not high school but like university where he can choose filmmaking, and he chooses that, and not filmmaking exactly, kind of like visual media. Yeah, visual media. That's it. And then he chooses
Yeah,
it, and then he lives with these three people who are like called the what was it again? Fucking Trinity, something Trinity thingy, whatever name you call for three people who are pretty great. One of them is like a singer, they're very popular. One of them is like an illustrator who is also insanely popular, and one of them is a writer who is also insanely popular. These people are very popular, and actually, was it even visual media or video games? Because I remember it just goes to visual novels and shit. But anyways, yeah. He gets to live with them, and he is the okay. How do I describe this? He's like remaking his own life. At the same time, he's also remaking their life as well, because they in the timeline that he was in, they were very popular people. In like a few episodes afterwards, there's like things happening. Like the writer wants to quit because he can't get his creative flow because he's dependent on the protagonist and stuff like that. And he goes back into the future or something of this timeline where everybody quit. Nobody is as popular as there was and stuff. It's actually pretty good. But yeah, you should check out Bokutachi no Remake, man. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I'll check it out definitely.
Yeah, it
But
was
yeah,
it was definitely a show that I really enjoyed, even though it has kind of like a very mediocre score on like analysts, like 72%. It's not as major, and a lot of people that I talked to about it, everybody was like, "Oh no, it's kind of a bit too pacey. It's kind of too quick and shit." But I enjoyed it. Enjoyed it to the point that it's actually the first anime review that I made. A review of a show that didn't even finish airing. I remember I made it on episode 8.
yeah.
But yeah, it's a really good show. You got to check it out.
But yeah, so my favorite year of anime is 2021.
All right, 2021. For me though, it's 2020 because again, it was that season where I was so invested in anime and I had so many seasonals to watch. Or is it 2020? Let me just double check real quick. I don't want to mess it up. Yeah, it is 2020 Like we got Jujutsu Kaisen, we got Attack on Titan, the final season. We got Mugen Train, which I did not watch sadly. We got Kaguya-sama season 2. We got ReZero part season 2. We got Tower of God, God of High School, which is garbage. Rent a Girlfriend, which is also garbage. We also got Haikyuu to the top. Oh man, I can't wait for the Haikyuu movie. I haven't read. I tried to read the manga, but I kind of stopped in between. Um, what else? Tonikaku Kawaii, Great Pretender, underrated anime. I fucking enjoyed it.
Yeah.
The last season of Oragairu, Fruit Basket, I did not watch it, so I'm not gonna mention it. But yeah, it's pretty good. Dorehidoro, what? No, Gleipnir was ass. Why is this here? Fuck. Shokugeki no Some's ass too. Especially the last season. Kyokusuri Inspector is very. I mean, I enjoyed it, but it's not like the greatest anime that I watched. It's pretty decent. ID Invaded. Oh my god, I totally forgot about this show. This is show stupidly underrated.
ID Invaded is really good, yeah.
Oh, really good. Especially the insert songs and like the ending songs Miyavi made. Oh, so good. And Kakushigoto, it's there. Oh no! Why did I say this? Yesterday no Tate. That's like the show that I was most disappointed with, actually.
Really?
Yeah, because the end felt very flat. It was actually a good show for like the first 2 episodes. Then it kind of like they were doing decently. I don't know what happened. Like the last 3 episodes was just unenjoyable. Felt like they rushed it or something. Something they fucked up something. It wasn't that great. But even like Giga, I remember when the show was airing, he said this is going to be one of the best slice of lives. And then in the podcast, he said that he was disappointed by it when it was done airing. So yeah, that's one. What else was there? There's the Higurashi, not remake, but the modern Higurashi. There's
Yeah.
Kuma Bear. Why is this here? Okay, now that I scroll down more, I'm like, wait, is 2020 even a good year now? Like, what the fuck, man? There's good shows, but there's also a lot of shows that I dropped. There's listeners that I dropped. Oh my god, that was awful. What else? Isekai Quartet. I watched that for something else. There's Toaru Kagaku no Railgun T. Your favorite?
Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
Agree.
Oh, dude, it's Nihon Timbutsu 2020. You remember that one? There was this one clip of like a kid who can't speak or something like and a rock falls on his head and that became a whole ass meme. Japan Sings. There we go.
And Sinks, yeah.
Yeah, that came out in 2022. Holy shit, that was actually hilarious. But yeah, I mean, 2022 was a pretty good year. That was the year that I was the most invested on, and the most amount of seasonals that I watched on one season. So yeah, that might be one of my most favorite season of all time, probably. Yeah.
Right on. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. 2020 and 2021. Maybe 2023 might come up there with the quality of the shows that we've been getting, but yeah. But
There's always a chance.
yeah, but we gotta look at the last two seasons and see how it would go. But for now, 2 or 3 seasons that we got, really good shows, really banger shows and stuff. But we gotta talk about one show, man. Mushoku Tensei. We both have a shared passion for that. We have to talk about 2 shows before we wrap up the episode. Mushoku Tensei and 86.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why we were speaking that specifically, but let's talk about Mushoku Tensei first. Because I remember when we were talking about River, right? I remember, you remember when we were on that live stream, and I was like, Rudius is when Cardiac was talking about how Rudius is like one of the best pro tags, and River was like, no, and then I was like, Cardiac spin, and then River wasn't on my ass for it, and then we all know what happened afterwards. We don't talk about it. Yeah, we don't talk about that. But, yeah. Mushoku Tensei. For me... Alright, no. Continue, no, go on, my bad.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I don't know anything. I don't read the novel. I don't
Me
read the
neither.
manga.
Me neither.
And the first season, I came in and I came blind and I completely enjoyed it. Mushoku Tensei is my favorite fantasy isekai anime.
Yeah, same. It's up there with ReZero for me, for sure.
Yeah. ReZero was my favorite fantasy isekai anime until Mushoku
Michigan Tensei
Tensei.
came in.
And
Yeah.
yeah, but it's a testament to see because the reason why Mushoku Tensei was originally because when it was announced, all the fantasy isekai fans came out and was like, "This is was the start. This was the first kind of major isekai boom within the novel world." Because
Yeah.
in the anime world it was Sword Art Online, but
Yeah.
in the novel world it was Mushoku Tensei. So a lot of people didn't know what Mushoku Tensei. We didn't read light novels,
Yeah.
but in the light novel world was Mushoku Tensei, and it was surprising that it took this long. All the isekai that came out before it, it was surprising that it took that long for it to get an anime. Thank the heavens it did because Blind did an amazing job adapting that first season. And watching it, now understand the kind of appeal of isekai because Mushoku Tensei is the story that every other garbage fantasy isekai
Tries to be.
emulated.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
try to
Michigan
remake.
Tensei walked so Isekai could run, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And they failed to do it. So when Mushoku Tensei anime finally came out, I was like, so this is the formula originally got a bunch of light novel fans. This was the story that got a bunch of light novel fans in love with this genre. And now I understand, although I still don't like isekai that much.
Yeah.
I understand now the love for the genre by watching Mushoku Tensei. I was like, so this is what the
Yeah.
genre
We
was meant
found
to.
the Krabby Patty formula finally.
Yeah, I was like, this is what the genre was meant to be while
Yeah.
watching Mushoku Tensei, and I think that's the beauty of it. It kind of is not. It's not only the blueprint, but it also stands a testament to being one of the greatest ones, greatest isekais ever made. And so yeah, season two, I'm here for it. I'm hyped.
Yep. For me, yeah, it's kind of like the same. I did not know anything about Mushoku Tensei. I heard like people talk about it a bit, like, oh yeah, this is amazing, this is pretty cool. I was like, all right, fine, what? I'll check it out. And then I watched it, and oh my god, it is amazing. It is a ride, that's for sure. And we're only like what 10% through the story, and that just blew my mind. Like we still got more turning points to go. Two of them wasn't enough. Weirdly enough, I don't know anything about like the source material stuff, but all I know is that like the things that we're getting, oh man, it's just really good. And for me, like again, the whole Rudius thing, I feel like that's one thing that's been a problem. The whole Rudius character in itself, I feel like that's what is gatekeeping the anime from like the people because everybody's like, oh, Rudius is a weird character because he's like a 30-year-old man in a child's body and he's weird. It's a very, very sensitive topic because, again,
I
both
don't
sides
I
are.
don't really think it is as sensitive as people make it out to
No,
be.
I
It
get.
is weird.
Yeah,
It
it
is
is.
weird.
Yeah,
He's a 40-year-old man in a child's body, and he is a very weird, creepy person. Like that's the point.
yeah, it is the point. Yeah, but
If you don't like that point, then you're not gonna like the show. Like
yeah,
you can't like you're just like if it makes you cringe every time you see it, then yeah, you probably
you
won't like the
probably
show.
yeah, exactly. But I feel like that was like the thing about Mushoku Tensei is that the way they present flawed characters and the way they develop these flawed characters. One thing that I personally enjoy in itself is like flawed characters because you can feel the growth within them. Like with Shinji from Evangelion, with the fat kid from like Axel World. Have you ever watched Axel World? It's by the same guy as Sword Art Online.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I've never seen a Cell World, but I'll check it out. I might check it out one day.
It's
I don't
it's
know.
it's not the greatest show in the world, but it's actually pretty decent. But it's like it's kind of like it's the same writer as Sword Art Online, so you know what to
Yeah,
expect. Like the second half of the show is just but the first half is really good. But yeah, the character in that is pretty flawed. He's like a very he's kind of like Shinji, for example. Like he's very scared and kind of like insecure about stuff, and yeah, again, flawed character, something that we don't see in a lot of media, especially in anime, because there's this whole I don't know what it is with people enjoying power fantasies. Like, oh yeah, this character became big and thingy, and like this all like instant. Uh, what is the word that I'm looking for? Like, you know how in like most power fantasies or something like Isekai Cheat Skill was just recently airing. Like how
Mm.
he instantly becomes strong, he instantly becomes smart and shit,
Yeah,
and he just flaps on.
yeah.
Why can't we just stretch that journey of them being from flawed to being, not perfect, but great characters. Like with Shinji again, like the Sadly, it took us like 5 movies for him to become what he is right now.
Hmm.
Yeah, we needed to watch the series. Now we needed to watch the end of Evangelion. Now we need to watch the remake movies. But still, the growth is just amazing to watch. Yeah, it might be infuriating at first, but like, look at it now. We got an amazing character. Same thing. I feel the same thing with Rudius, because even in season one, in the both of the parts, we can see that growth. Because I remember in like the early parts of like Mushoku Tensei how he was very perverted, right? Especially with the maid in his house, right? And then
Hmm.
in part two, after rescuing her and stuff, he wasn't asking any perverted requests or anything, even though he would have done it because of how she's very devoted to him. But instead, he became a lot more. I don't know. What am I looking? He became a lot more better. Like he's not being a perverted bitch ass anymore. So yeah, there is growth. I just don't. Yeah, again, it's for people who cringe at that sort of stuff. It's a very hard show to get into, and I get it. But for me, like I enjoyed flawed characters, so I enjoyed, just watching it. I mean, here's me watching the talk. I spent like 15 minutes talking about school days, so there you go. That's another show with flawed characters. Ha ha ha. But
I
yeah,
don't think I don't think it's necessarily like flawed characters that the people's problem. It's what the flaw is.
yeah, it's the flaw
Uh,
that's the problem. Yeah, that's true.
it is the people's problem. His flaw is his perverted and creepy, basically borderline sexual harassment nature.
Yeah,
Um, that people have a problem with, which is perfectly fine. That's why I don't try to force feed people Mushoku Tensei.
yeah,
Check it out if you can watch it, then you should. It's a character growth journey.
yeah.
But if you can't,
But
if you just can't get
yeah,
into it because of that, then completely understandable.
yeah. But one thing that I just want to mention to people, we mentioned it when we were talking about Anitube. Don't call people names just because they watch it, please. Like, please and thank you. Like, don't call people pedos or shit, because I've seen it. I've seen it with like Mushoku Tensei discourse. I've seen
Yeah,
people like calling others pedophiles and lollicons and shit because they watch the
I
show.
mean,
And so, yeah,
but I mean, if you want to be honest, every anime genre has that
yeah,
because every anime genre has that,
yeah,
So
yeah. But no, it's more like the people that were talking about Rudius and how they're the points that we talk about, right? Like the flawed
yeah.
character stuff, and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, you're siding with a pedo. Oh, you're siding with a weirdo." Like, come on, guys, it's fiction. Like, please. But yeah, next show, 86. This is one show that I love so much, and I did not think I'd
Mhm.
love it as much. What are your thoughts
I
on it, man?
I absolutely love 86. The final episode of
Whole
86
peak
the
fiction.
best episode of the year,
Yeah,
if you ask me when it came out. I think it's 2021.
2021. Yeah,
Yeah, it was the best episode of the year when it came out. And I'm fingers crossed we get a season two. I'm pretty sure we'll get a season two. The show is widely popular,
no,
and
yeah,
the light novels are selling like crazy.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll get a season two eventually. Probably not. I assume within the next 2 years.
maybe.
Um,
Oh man, you gotta wait for a while.
but
That's the sad part.
but yeah, I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it. I think 86 is one of the greatest depictions of cultural discrimination within
Yep.
anime. And a lot of the criticism I see with 86 is that it's too on the nose, and I feel like that is what makes it good
Good.
for me.
Yep.
I agree with it that it is too on the nose, but that's the point.
Hmm.
I think that a lot of shows and media in general, when they talk about cultural discrimination, they try to make it as subtle as possible as they can, and it's that subtlety that people like. And I like it too, But 86 stood out to me because it was so on the nose, and they were just like, no, this is wrong, this is bad, here's why. Because
I mean,
it's
if
not
that's the case, then that's kind of like double standardish because Attack on Titan did the same, especially with like season 4. I mean, like season 3 with the Marley Eldia thingy, and that was kind of like similar, and that was very on the nose as well. But we don't see criticism of
Attack
that.
Attack on Titan was more of a not a gray.
Yo, what? Oh,
In the
oh,
round.
oh, damn! My whole thing lagged.
Started
What
in
did you say? My bad. I did not hear anything. My whole thing lagged.
my
Attack on
fault, my
Titan?
fault. I was like, Attack on Titan is kind of in a gray area, unlike 86. So
Yeah.
it's like the I forget what the people in 86 called, the white haired people.
White haired
No
people.
redeeming
Yeah.
in 86.
Oh yeah, 86.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they have no redeeming qualities. While the Marlians they do because the Marlians didn't start the war. The
Yeah.
Eldians started the
Yeah.
war. So it's like Attack on Titan is more of a gray area situation, while 86 is more of kind of a more so black and white situation.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Where
Oh yeah, I get you. I get you.
so that was kind of the criticism with 86, but that's what I like about the show. Like it is, and I understand people who don't like that, but that's what I like about the show is that it is black and white situation because sometimes in real life that is how it is. Like
Yeah. Exactly.
there is
Yeah.
no gray area within certain situations.
Yeah.
And I think 86 stands out because it is one of the only shows that takes that risk of, yeah, we're not gonna make a sympathetic villain.
Yeah.
We're really not.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, you are evil, and that is it.
and I think that's we're kind of in this era of sympathetic villains, which great era. There are
Yeah.
a lot of great
Great
beginnings.
villains. Yeah.
A villain who is just evil stands out, and
For real.
it's equally just as well written. If you ask me.
When you mentioned that, it reminded me of Babylon. Have you watched Babylon, the anime? It's actually a bit. I wouldn't say it's like mad popular, but it's like this. I mean, it's not even well received that much. I remember hearing about it because back in 2019 Crunchyroll Awards, there was like mentions of this one character, the antagonist of this anime, on some nominations as well. And I was like, wait, why is this? Why is she nominated? And then I hear like this antagonist, man, like she's a fucking lunatic, like straight up. And there's no like redeeming qualities about her. She's just a fucking lunatic, and that just made her a good character for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you gotta check out Babylon though. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. But yeah, 86. One thing that I really liked about 86, especially when I watched like part one, especially like the last few episodes of part one and even in part two, there was this sense of dread and like like no hope or anything. Like it felt like, especially when they like left that area and then they started exploring and stuff, and then they eventually all their bots and everything get destroyed and stuff in the last episodes. There was this sense of like it's not just like one, they're going into the unknown obviously, but there's like, would they make it alive, would they survive? And instantly it took me to Attack on Titan, especially the first few seasons of like first, not even first season, I feel like the second Attack on Titan, the second arc of Attack on Titan, the whole scouts arc and the whole female Titan arc, and there's this feeling of like, would they make it out, right? There's like this, you feel like they might die, the main characters might die or some shit. And I felt that quality with 86 because most shows don't do that. That sense of like uncertainty, like whether if everything would go well, and also this sense of dread and just there's no hope left. And the thing is with 86 is that with what we got from part 1 and part 2, we're just barely scratching the surface, especially with we don't even know what the enemy is in that anime. Like we all know they're like these robot things, right? And these robot things can eat people's brains. and they will use them. That's all we know. Like, where does this come from? What is this? We still have no idea. Again, it reminds me of Attack on Titan, especially early Attack on Titan, like season 1 Attack on Titan. Like, we didn't know where the Titans came from. What are these Titans? How are they there? How are they a thing? Why can these people transform? We did not know that. Like season 1 until like season 3 and stuff. So yeah, it's one anime that I really associate with like Attack on Titan 86, and really, if anyone hasn't checked it out, everybody has to check out like 86. Man, it's a fucking amazing show.
It's an amazing show, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I didn't keep a note for this episode, so every question that came up, I just came up with a question. That's about it. But before we actually wrap up, though, we have to talk about like your YouTube channel and stuff because we didn't talk about it that much. We've been talking about anime, what anime you like from this year era, blah blah blah. But we have to talk about your YouTube channel. So, yeah, what's like the most like favorite anime that favorite video that you've made thus far?
I was recently asked this by on on my own stream on the right stream
Yeah.
by the video game side dude. He asked me, what's your favorite video?" I
Yeah.
was like, I don't know.
No. Oh yeah.
I say better world building than One Piece video because I got to talk about Index.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
so that's what I'm gonna say. But I really did enjoy the best year of anime video for 2022. I enjoyed making the animation is not that important video.
Mm-hmm.
I had hella fun with the single weave video. That
Okay.
was really
Yeah.
fun. The my anime epiphany video was fun,
Mm-hmm.
and I just can't choose. If I had to choose, it'd probably be the my anime epiphany video, the grass video.
All right. Yeah. I feel like that was the first time you actually like started to experiment with green screen, right?
Yeah, that was the first time.
Yeah, I remember. I remember when I saw that tweet and shit, and I was like, all right, this is pretty cool now. But yeah, if you're asking me, it's the Yu-Gi-Oh video that we watched on stream, man. That shit was amazing. Like easily one of my favorite videos. Not because that I was like mad into Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff, but because that video is just insane, man. Like especially that last section was just so good.
Thank you. Yeah, that one was. I wanted to make it for a while, but at the time when the news broke, I was working on the this video.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not gonna be able to make it till the new year. But yeah, I'm glad how it came out. I'm glad how it turned out. Yeah, it was fun. That was a fun one. I did cry during the filming of that.
Oh.
But yeah, it was a fun one to make.
But also like, well, let's talk about Anitube. Like, we mentioned like Gigak and Joey, Mother's Basement, etc. Who's your favorite Anitubers, and who were like your like main inspiration when it came to your channel and your content?
So my favorite Anituber is Giga.
Yes, there you go. Good answer.
But as for inspiration for the channel,
Yeah.
actually, most of my inspirations don't come from Anitube.
It comes from outside Anitube. All right, there we go.
Most of my information, and that's a major advice that a bunch of YouTubers give. Definitely watch the
Outside
YouTubers
of yeah.
outside
It's kind of like music artists, especially like I listen to a lot of metal. So when people ask like in interviews when they ask who's like your inspiration for music, they would say Bach or someone else, and they're like, wait, why are you listening to classical music? And they're like, we enjoy music outside of it. Yeah, exactly.
So as for inspirations, my favorite is Gigic. I definitely was inspired by there's this channel. I think she's fairly new, which she's also a filmmaker. It's called The Life of Riza.
Okay.
Her cinematography is amazing, and I'm trying my best to work my way up to that. Like that's the type of level I want to get. My cinematography is. Cinematography is amazing. She's one of my inspirations as well.
Mm-hmm.
An inspiration that a lot of people don't. A lot of people are surprised when I tell them is Michael Reeves is one of my inspirations. Yeah.
All right.
Crazy Science Michael is one of my biggest inspirations. Watching his videos is kind of what inspired me. I was like, I have a green screen, so
All right.
that's kind of what inspired me to do that. And then as for Anitube, I said Gig. Totally Not Mark is another one.
Mhm.
It's a big inspiration for me.
Mhm.
Um, Alexander Scott. I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Mhm.
Um, his script writing is very inspiration for me. Um, Mother's Basement script writing as well, and I
Mhm.
think that's pretty much it as for inspirations. But most of my inspirations come from outside. Like when I create my own videos, like the cinematography inspired by Life of Riza, the um, the green screen and effects inspired by Michael, and the script writing it mostly comes from me and inspired by with Andy basically.
All right. Okay, that's a great answer, man. Like, again, taking inspiration outside of Anitube is very important. I feel like looking outside the box and seeing what else you can absorb from other
Mm.
types of videos, yeah, that really does come in handy. And yeah,
Is
it is a very important skill or observation that everyone needs to have in any sort of YouTube. Any content creator should have really, not only just Anitube but also outside of Anitube to just look outside the box, see what others are making and stuff. Again, when I talked about music artists listening to us, I remember like Jim. Wait. I need to just check this because I don't want to butcher anyone's names or something. But yeah, I remember recently like watching again. I watched like this one review and not review interview with like M Shadows, who's like vocalist of Avenged Sevenfold, and this dude is he when they asked him what's his inspiration, it's not the genre of music that he makes. It's mostly things outside. So yeah, think outside the box. You look outside the box and yeah, see what inspires you. Anyways, how long has this episode been? 3 hours. Let's go. 3 hour podcast. We're back, baby. The podcast is back. Why is it always with anime content creators it goes up to 3 hours? I still have no idea why. The last time we had a 3 hour episode, it was with Ivory, anime reaction guy. We were talking about anime and stuff. It went up to like 3.5 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was my longest until Futaki Shimana came in. 4 hours that episode. So yes, I'm back to doing 3 hour podcast, baby. Anyways, RJ, thanks for coming to the podcast, man. It really was a blast to just talk with you and just talk about Anitube and anime in general because I haven't been talking anime with a lot of people, so it's really good to like talk about things that we see in Twitter and anime community and stuff. So, man, like, thank you for hopping by.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. Anytime. I love being on the podcast. Love talking about different media. Yeah, no, thanks for having me. So it's been fun.
Yeah. Before we wind up, I would like to have like ask one more question. Obviously, I've been saying that for a while, but yeah, for real,
Uh,
this is like a tradition in the channel because I ask this with everyone. But yeah, you're 4 years into YouTube. You're 20 years in, and you've been watching anime for 21 years. You're 4 years into making content. What would you describe your journey is like with on YouTube and your anime journey of just watching anime? What would you describe your journey and how would you look back at it?
uh, hmm, uh, I would describe my journey as a trial and error experience because starting out YouTube, I did it. It's gonna sound so conceited. A lot of people say, "Oh, I just started at YouTube as a hobby. I just did it just cause I didn't really want it to blow up." No, blowing up is my goal. Blowing
Screw
up
that
is the
humble
goal.
shit. Yeah, I wanted to blow up.
No, blowing up is the goal. I would love to do this full time. I love making content. It is the goal. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I want to be number one. No, I have no intentions of being the next anime Mr. Beast. I do want to do this full time. That was the goal when I started. I was like, that sounds like a job I would enjoy doing full time.
Yeah.
Um, So yeah, with that, coming in to the YouTube, doing it full time is a mentality they tell you not to come in with because you never know if it's going to take off and it's not. And of course, I humbled myself like this could not work. I mean, I'm not the greatest thing ever. This could not work. I got lucky. One of my videos did blow up, and I'm still getting lucky that people still watch and enjoy my videos.
Mm-hmm.
And it has been trial and error. I started off not knowing what I was doing,
Mm-hmm.
and to this extent, I still don't know. I know what I'm doing, but it's still like some things I still don't work. I still have things to work out, and I'll probably always still have things to work out.
Yeah.
YouTube is
Yeah.
an ever growing process of you always have something you can improve on, and that's the beauty and curse of it, to be honest.
Yeah.
And yeah, so my journey has been a bunch of trial and error. It's been a bunch of is this work? Will this work? Will this not work? I want to do this content, or do I want to do something else content wise? And yeah, I've been having really fun with it. But throughout it all, I love every single thing I make, um, and I love making content for people. And I'm truly lucky. I haven't I'm no big anime. I'm no big YouTuber. Like I
Yeah.
said, I'm not doing it full time. But I am lucky that the 6,000 people that did like my content subscribed. I mean, 6,000 as we're recording this video did like my content subscribed. I am lucky that people do come out and check out my videos and do comment and do enjoy it, because it really with so much media to watch, if they take the time out of their day to watch my videos,
Yeah.
I'm forever grateful,
Yeah.
because a lot of people don't get that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's nothing but love to any On the Rise fan out there. Um, my journey has been all trial and error, a lot of stress, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. But I love what I do. I absolutely do love making content, and I hope that shows in everything, in all my videos that I make, because I love every last single one of them. Yeah, that's what my journey's been so far, and I hope to continue to do it for the foreseeable future. There is no. I've been asked before, where do you see yourself stopping? And I don't see myself stopping anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm.
I'll be here for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, again, thank you so much for hopping by the podcast. It's great to have you here, and yeah, just talk about anime and all
Thanks
stuff.
so much
Yeah,
for inviting me.
and yeah, anime Twitter, and yeah, I guess that's it for the podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you guys are listening on Spotify, thank you for listening, and if you guys are watching this on YouTube, thank you for watching. We'll be back soon. I don't know, probably 1 month or two. I don't know. It just depends on how we get our guests. This podcast is very on and off, so don't expect consistent uploads. But yeah, welcome to. Thanks for listening to episode 10 of Behind the Frames. Check out my channel. Check out RJ's channel On the Rise. Link to it will be in the description for sure. And yeah, thank you guys so much for listening, and I will see you guys in the next episode. See ya. Peace.